the accumulating rain will be tapering off tomorrow. So we do have that threat of freshwater flooding in addition to the threat of the storm surge flooding. Again, most of our areas are going to be getting somewhere in that 4-inch range, which isn't terrible, but there will be an area along, especially the north side of where the center comes on shore, that could be seeing somewhere in that 12 to 14-inch range or even greater in some localized areas, and that certainly is enough to create some significant flooding. And this is the way it's looking right now, or at least this model's projection of those rainfall totals. So again, the farther south you go, which is closer to where landfall is more likely, the numbers are getting bigger, and then it just spreads out north from there. But these are still significant. We don't want to see in Pasco County, around areas that we have seen significant flooding with summer thunderstorms, to see rainfall totals of 6 inches. And again, this model showing that we may be seeing somewhere around 7 to 10 with some locally higher amounts in northern Pinellas County as well as northwestern Hillsborough County. Again, we've had flooded areas here that haven't received this much rainfall. We've already got very saturated ground. So this is a real concern. And again, you want to be in place, make sure that you're not wandering around. Going out in flooded areas is not a good idea. You don't know what's in the water. So you want to definitely stay indoors until those storms pass. About 11 o'clock around this time tomorrow, we'll start to have a better assessment of what's going on. And of course, we'll be bringing that all to you. All right, Dia.
All right. Thank you, Shay. Long 24 hours.
It's truly, truly. And we're here with you the whole time. And by the way, a quick reminder here, if you do lose power, we know power outages are very likely, and you have a radio, you can still listen to our coverage from our team of meteorologists and reporters throughout and after the storm. We partnered with 6 local radio stations. You can see them right there on your screen.
Our partners include 99.5 QIK, 98.7 The Shark, 92.5 Maxima, Q105, Wild 94.1, and Talk 1010 AM. Again, if you lose power, and we know that power outages are inevitable, you can still get updates straight from our team of meteorologists on those channels and stay up to date exactly what's happening in that area. I apologize, I'm losing my voice.
You've been talking a lot today. It's okay. It's okay.
We've got crews spread out all across the Bay Area to keep you informed on what's happening in the Tampa Bay area. So now we're going to go to Hillsborough County.
That's where Keela McCormick joins us live. She's been there all morning. Keela, you're joining us now from Lockhart Elementary School in Tampa. Are you seeing a lot of people at that shelter?
Yeah, I am. They actually just opened the doors here. So the long line's no longer outside. They're inside getting registered. But, earlier today I was telling you there were 11 shelters open. Now 2 of those are at capacity. One of them is almost at capacity. And I'm hearing from a lot of people here that several other shelters are just really full. So Hillsborough County opened 3 more shelters to help keep up with demand. We're here at Lockhart. This is one of the new ones open. You can take a look at your screen. The other 2, one in Valrico and one is in Riverview. And they just opened the doors here. And if you are starting to feel unsafe, or maybe one of the shelters is too full for you, you can head over in this direction. I spoke to a couple that just walked in here. They were at Middleton. They said it was really getting crowded, so they made the decision to head over to this one. Earlier today, we were at Pizzo Elementary School. That was busy. We saw a steady flow of people coming in, carrying big bags full of blankets and pillows and water, everything they needed to get them through the night with the storm. Now, again, all of these shelters are listed on our website. You can check to see which ones are still open, which ones are full, and it also tells you which ones are nearing capacity. Head over to abcactionnews.com for all of that information. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right. Thank you, Keely. I think we're going to take a live look at Key West right now, actually. The southernmost point. Are we going to be able to pull that up? Wow.
It's incredible. You see the waves they're kicking up right now. Again,
over the buoy.
Over the buoy, exactly. And this is the power of this storm as it approaches. Again, this is in Key West. Hopefully people there boarded up, they evacuated. You don't want to be in that area at all. Oh, you've got people out there walking around.
Unfortunately, I'm not surprised.
Exactly. Yeah. Very dangerous right now. Hopefully those people will leave out of there pretty quickly. Look at how dangerous that surf is.
And this really shows how much of the state this storm is impacting. Yeah, from Key West all the way, it's incredible how much of the state this storm is going to touch at some point, all the way across to the East Coast as well.
And we've also got some video that we want to show you of another area in Broward County. Is that right? Where there was a tornado that was reported in Broward County?
Yeah. So if we can pull up that video, this is in the Broward Collier County area. You know, we've been talking about how the Tampa Bay area is under that tornado watch right now, but look at this. This actually happened in more southern counties. That's pretty terrifying, I'm not going to lie. So Florida Department of Highway Safety shared these images of this happening earlier today. Again, they were taken in the area of Broward and Collier counties. So it just highlights the importance. Right now we're under a tornado watch, and I'm sure once the weather gets a little bit closer to our area, we'll be under warnings. And our team of meteorologists obviously will be tracking any warnings that happen in any of the Tampa Bay area counties.
Again, it just shows the power of this storm. We've been talking about this storm as it approaches and how it's impacting the entire peninsula of Florida. And now you're seeing it. We just saw the video from Key West. And now we're seeing these pictures of the tornado in Broward County. And again, we're hoping that people all over the state really are heeding the warnings, you know, at least getting someplace safe if they've decided not to evacuate.
Yeah, and really getting somewhere safe soon. You heard from leaders in Hernando County saying you really need to get to your safe space by noon today, because then conditions are just going to start deteriorating. So let's bring in meteorologist Shay Ryan now, because Shay, the timing is really crucial right now with people, and the time to actually get somewhere safe is really shrinking at this point.
Yeah, as you said, noon. And right now, what is it? 11:36. So we really have, I think, run out of time. We already noticed now that the Skyway Bridge has closed. That tornado that we were just looking at there on the camera from Broward County, again, that risk is in our area as well. There is a band that is going to be moving on shore, and we will have that risk of isolated tornadoes. Again, keep in mind, if this is your first time through a hurricane, we will often see that risk as the outer bands around the storm move on shore. It creates friction and spin, and we get isolated weak tornadoes that are rather small. So they're not the big tornadoes that you hear of out west that move miles, or long track tornadoes that are quite wide. But again, still dangerous and still a concern. And it's something that we'll be watching all throughout the day today and even into early this evening. So right now we're noticing that the camera's shaking a bit more than it was the last time. And it's likely going to be the case that at some point we're going to lose it. So again, we are noticing declining conditions, and this is the Hyatt Clearwater camera. We've also got rainfall, and the water starting to get quite a bit rougher out there. We have heavier rainfall starting to move across Pinellas and into Hillsborough County and across our roadways, almost into Lakeland right now and across I-4, starting to move into our southern counties. And as you can see here around Sarasota County, we're getting some of just the beginning of that outer band. And as we broaden the view just a little bit more, okay, so let's see. So we've got, I'm not seeing the tornado warning that was associated with, so we've got Dade County and Broward County right here. And it might have been the cell that was moving right through there. It looked like it was a pretty rural area. I happen to be from Broward County. So more than likely it was one of these cells that was out here just on the western edge that was creating it. But we'll look at that a little bit closer. So again, as we take a look here at that outer rain band, this is where we are more likely to see those isolated tornadoes embedded. And in fact, right there, okay, so just south of us, we do have a tornado warning along that line. It's not quite in our viewing area just yet, but this is indicating that we're more likely to see what we were just talking about. So we'll be keeping a real close eye on that. And as the storm continues to work its way in our direction, it is speeding up. It's going now at about 17 miles per hour. The heavy rain is going to start accumulating, especially as those outer bands move through. So it's not just the threat of storm surge flooding as the storm is moving toward us. It is, of course, pushing that, think of it as the weight of the storm. So it's the pressure, the actual pressure of the storm is pushing against the water in the Gulf of Mexico and just pushing it against the coastline. So that's what creates that storm surge flooding. moves against the coastline and then has nowhere to go, so it just spills on top of the land. So that's our storm surge flooding. But then our freshwater flooding comes from the rainfall. So we've got both of those concerns with this storm, but the freshwater flooding is likely to be north of the center of the storm, and that'll move all the way across the state from Tampa basically through Daytona and then offshore. It will start to, as that storm moves offshore, of course, we lose that ability. The great news about a fast moving storm is it really limits the rainfall totals. So we're looking at totals in the highest amount, somewhere in that 12 to 14 inch range, maybe higher in the 16-inch range in some localized areas. And that's pretty reasonable when we're talking about a tropical system. And that's because it is a faster moving system. So again, it does pose a threat, but it could be worse. So it is one of the better things we've got going with this storm. And again, we are going to continue to watch that move across the state here over the next 16 hours or so. The wind gusts right now have picked up some. We're up to 44-mile-per-hour wind gusts at St. Pete. And again, that's why the Skyway is closed. We've got 38-mile-per-hour wind gusts around Bradenton and into Sarasota, 39 for Venice. Port Richey, Newport Richey at 35, the same in Spring Hill. And 28-mile-per-hour gusts now in Tampa. We'll continue to see those wind gusts picking up. So at this point, hopefully you are in a good, safe location inside your home, and we'll continue to watch the wind speeds picking up into that 30 to 40-mile-per-hour range over the next hour or two. And then by 4 o'clock, we're approaching a 50-mile-per-hour range. And by sunset, we're getting closer to a 60 to 70 as along the coast. Keeps going up from there and will continue going up even until after midnight before it really starts to come back down. Again, this model is showing that the landfall would be a little bit farther north than what the National Hurricane Center is showing. Bottom line is those numbers may move north or south a little bit, but we all should be anticipating the worst case scenario here, and we all have in the way that we've prepared. So as far as Hurricane Milton is concerned, 145-mile-per-hour maximum sustained winds. It's moving to the northeast at 17 miles per hour, and the pressure has been coming up, which means that the storm is weakening. We do not have a well-defined eye at the moment, so it is weakening, which is good news as it's making its approach. Dia?
All right, thank you so much, Shay. We've got our crews spread out all across the Tampa Bay area. When we checked in on Polk County earlier today, the gas situation there was not good. Our Rebecca Petit had been out there. She had gone to a number of different stations trying to find a gas station. She finally found one. Long lines out there, but at least the folks found some gas that was available.
So tough for people who are trying to evacuate at this point. That's really frustrating. So Rebecca joins us now live from downtown Lakeland. Rebecca, what are you seeing there now in Lakeland?
That's right. I'm in the historic downtown Lakeland area where it's fairly quiet right now. People are inside their homes. This is not an area where people had to evacuate, so people are pretty much hunkering down right now. But here in Lakeland and in Polk County as a whole, Hurricane Milton's strong winds and heavy rainfall is going to be a big concern. And so in this neighborhood, there's still debris on the ground, which is going to be a hazard once those winds pick up. The winds are going to bring down power lines. They're going to bring down branches. And so people who live in mobile homes, they were encouraged to evacuate because those homes are vulnerable to wind damage. Residents are also bracing for major flooding. People who live in low-lying areas were also encouraged to evacuate as well. And for those who did not evacuate, now is the time where they're just going to want to hunker down because around this time, noontime, we're going to start to see those impacts of Hurricane Milton. Live in Lakeland.
All right, thank you. That was Rebecca Petit reporting live in Lakeland. We want to head over to Pinellas County. We've been checking in on the Shore Acres area in St. Pete, that area prone to flooding. It was hit hard by Hurricane Helene. And the big story today is all of those debris piles that have been out there for weeks since Hurricane Helene.
Yeah, that debris can be so dangerous. And that's where we find ABC Action News reporter Larissa Scott. Larissa, what are you seeing out there? Has enough debris been picked up?
Unfortunately, we've been here for several hours this morning and we have seen no piles of debris picked up. And you guys know how large these are. We've been showing you all morning long. I mean, significant piles of debris. And honestly, these aren't even some of the biggest ones that we've seen in this neighborhood. We've driven by houses where it looks like everything that was inside of those homes, unfortunately ruined by Helene, now on the side of the road. Homeowners here telling us over the past week and a half that some people had several feet of water in their homes. Some people even had water go over the tops of their cars that were parked in their driveways. So just a lot of devastation inside of these homes, and that's what you're seeing on the side of these roads here. And although there's been a huge effort from the state to help pick up this debris, there's just so much in all of these communities that all of it could not be picked up in time. And so that's kind of where we are right now, is that we're seeing these piles of debris. Unfortunately, just a huge concern for people as they watch Milton approach.
Tornado. So this is right around the moorings. Here's Golden Gate Parkway and Highway 41. So for those of you a little bit farther south in Naples, this is around East Naples Airport Pooling Road. This is not a threat to you, but that is a pretty strong tornado signature that we're looking at right along the coastline. So Golden Gate Parkway near US 41. That's where we're tracking some of that rotation. So let me zoom out just a little bit here and we'll draw a track to give you a better idea of where this is going. So the areas in the red box, that's where the tornado warning is in place. So that includes the vineyards, technically includes Golden Gate too. Okay, so we've got a view there from Naples Pier. Okay, yeah, so that's the Earth Cam from Naples Pier, and we're looking out in the Gulf of Mexico because this likely originated perhaps as a water spout and then coming on shore. You can see there's a lot of folks there gathered around the pier. Definitely that's not a good idea, but I want to expand the view just a little bit because these are racing so quickly. I've got to make sure that there's enough room to draw the track. So let's put a track in here as this continues to move up to the north and northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So let's see if I can get this little this tracker icon to click in here. Well, it looks like there's, come on, work with me here. Okay, actually, let me try one more thing. Let me go to a different product and see if I can get this to work. Okay, so we'll draw this. Yeah, kind of running out of room here. But this is kind of giving you an idea of where we're going to be looking at this potential rotation as it continues to move up the coast, places like Gulf Harbor, Naples Park in the next couple of minutes. So you need to be in your safe place right now, interior-most part of your home, away from walls, away from windows. I want you to take this seriously. We've already seen a couple of confirmed tornadoes across our inland communities, and the environment is ripe for producing tornadoes. Let me clear this off and we'll move the map just a little bit. And then in a second, we'll go back to meteorologist Jim Dickey and check on that tornado warning in Lee County. So let's go a little bit farther north. So Naples Park, the vineyards, even up into Bonita Springs. Technically, we don't have that tornado warning in place for Bonita Springs, but this cell is racing your way as it continues to push to the north at about 45 miles per hour. So let me try this again. Let me draw one more track here and see if we can get this to work. And I'm going to draw it from where that rotation is. There we go. And you can see it's about 45 miles per hour. That would having also moving it into southern portions of Lee County. So I'm going to step off the screen just a little bit so I can make some adjustments. Gulf Harbor, 11:55. Naples Park, 11:53. Please go to your safe place. Vanderbilt Lakes, 11:58. Barefoot Beach, 11:59. Bonita Springs at noon, if this is able to hold together. Bonita Bay, 12:01. Hawthorne, also at 12:01. So I'm going to continue to monitor this rotation that we have in Collier County, where we do have an active tornado warning that expires at 12:15. We'll send it over to meteorologist Jim Dickey, who is covering that tornado warning in Lee County. Jim.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. And so replace that Naples camera with the view of the Sanibel Causeway we have right now in the alert center. The area we're tracking of rotation, this dangerous storm within this rain band that's moving into Lee County, has just crossed the causeway, or at the very least is over the causeway right now. So yeah, I want that camera up as soon as you can get it there so we can take a view I think that's the Naples Pier again. So as soon as you get that, let me know. But bring it back to me until you do. This is the cell we're talking about. This is the causeway. So the area of rotation is moving northward. In fact, go ahead and take that view full for a second, because I just want to take a look, make sure the folks at home can get a view of what we're seeing here, because there's the potential we're going to see this tornado come into view. But of note, you can't see much visibility dropping off because we're seeing heavy rainfall right now. We say a tornado is rain wrapped in these situations because there's very heavy rain falling along it. So this is a case you're not going to see this funnel moving in, and it's tough to see these cars going across the causeway, potentially driving right into what is this tornadic thunderstorm moving across the causeway right now. Go ahead and bring it back to me. I want to take a look at what we're seeing here. There's your area of rotation. This is just off now to the north of Sanibel. This is moving across the causeway. This is where this storm is headed. If you're watching from Cape Coral, you're under this tornado warning for this dangerous storm here. The southwest Cape, the southwest side of the Cape, 11:55. So we're talking in just 5 minutes. This is moving at about a 50-mile-per-hour clip. So just about 5 minutes, the area of rotation, the potential tornado, will be over you. So I want you to be thinking about where to go in your home right now. And that is an interior room without doors, without windows. Put as many walls between you and this tornadic thunderstorm as possible. And what I mean by that, this is coming from the south. So think which walls are facing south. Try to put as many between you and this incoming tornado as possible. Just got a fresh update on that cell. I'm going to keep the times up in the corner here for you. It does appear that the rotation couplet has weakened slightly, but still very much there. Jason?
Warning for deeper inland Lee County.
New tornado warning for deeper inland Lee County.
Basically Fort Myers out to Lehigh Acres.
Fort Myers out to Lehigh Acres. Take a look at that cell.
Yeah.
Signal me if and when you want to jump in on that one. We'll stay on this cell in the Cape right now. In fact, I have on ABC Doppler 2. I want to take a look at the view from Fort Myers Beach. I suspect it's going to be washed out with rain as well, but this is going to be looking right up towards the area. So if you can go ahead and take that. This is take that full so I can get a closer look at what we're talking about here. And I think once again, we're talking the potential for a rain-wrapped tornado, meaning you're not going to see all that much within this view. Yeah, so this is why this is a dangerous situation as well, because you're not going to see that potential funnel that's within this coming here because the rain is falling so heavily. But we are talking a tornado-warned storm for a cell that is just about to move its way into Cape Coral now, into the southwest side, that heavily populated southwest side of Cape Coral. We're talking in just about 5 minutes is when this area of rotation will arrive. It is over the waters now. It is about to cross into the southwest corner of the Cape. Bring it back here. Which camera are you looking at here? Is this Cape Coral? This is the Westin Resort. So this is sort of where we're talking about here, where the area of rotation is coming in. We have blinding rain. So again, rain-wrapped potential tornado within this cell. You won't see this coming towards your neighborhood. You want to be sure you are hunkering down in that safe space as this dangerous storm moves in. Times up in the corner of your screen. Pine Island Center, 12 noon. Matlacha, 12 noon. Calusa Ridge, 12:03. The northwest side of the Cape, 12:05. Speaking to how quickly this is moving, this is racing at about 50 miles per hour. And the area we're talking about right here, if there is a tornado within this storm, it is between Pine Island and the Cape right now, right over the mouth of the Caloosahatchee. There's an update. Sliding to the north and east. In fact, I want to go ahead and update my track because I suspect this is moving more northeast than due north. We have pronounced rotation within this cell that is moving over Cape Coral at a very fast 50 miles per hour. So you don't have much time here in the Cape. If you're watching from the Cape right now, you got that screaming alert to your phone. What you want to do, hunker down, get to that lowest level of your home, interior room. Think interior closet, an interior hallway, perhaps an interior bathroom. Your strategy, put as many walls between you and this incoming rotating thunderstorm as you can. There are some very, very strong winds within this. See that number there? I just clocked this from Tampa's radar. Again, a ways away, but I'm clocking winds at 112 miles per hour within that. Aloft, but you can easily mix some winds down in that range. 90 plus mile per hour wind gusts. Another question right now, especially if there's a tornado. Lisa, the Causeway Cam, Pine Island Road, bring that full so we can take a look at what we're looking at here. Pop up Lisa's microphone so they can hear her. This is
So this is the Sanibel Causeway. If we take our FDOT camera, it's so there we go. This is Pine Island Road heading towards Matlacha.
okay. Pine Island Road heading towards Matlacha. So the cell,
And we have Matlacha Bridge on PC.
okay, very well. The cell is still about 10 minutes. The area of rotation is still about 10 minutes from there and does appear to be going just to the east of those areas. But if you're watching from Pine Island Road, just east of Matlacha, you only have about 5 to 10 minutes. The Northwest Cape at 12:06. Go ahead if you want to cut in there, Lauren, with whatever it is you wanted to say.
The palm trees and just those strong winds.
Sure, go ahead and take Doppler 3 if you got that view there as well, showing you the strong winds with the cell that is moving its way in. This is the Sanibel Causeway, so the cell just lifted north of the causeway here. There's the potential we had a water spout that washed on shore, that washed right over the causeway from a cell that I'm tracking with 100 plus mile per hour winds right now. I want to get these times back for you here. The Southwest Cape, the storm is arriving as we speak. Right here, the southwest side of Cape Coral. There's Del Prado. There is Cape Coral Parkway, the southwest corner of Cape Coral, Sands Boulevard, Beach Parkway West. This is moving to the north and west. Potential rain-wrapped tornado, a tornado-warned storm in Cape Coral. Even outside of this rotation, this is producing very, very fierce winds right now. Let me dial down to street level to get into what we're talking about here. Some of these roads for you. El Dorado Parkway. There's Rose Garden Road, Sands Boulevard, Southwest 25th Place. Again, the southwest corner of Cape Coral. This is where this area of rotation is lifting right now, quickly off to the north, perhaps the northeast at about 50 miles per hour, and even outside of the rotation within this, producing very strong winds. This is one of numerous tornado warnings across the area. With a look at what's going on in interior Lee County, I'll send it out to Jason. What are you seeing out there, Jason?
The area of concern right now for other portions of Lee County, we'll get back to Cape Coral in a moment, but from Bonita Springs, Estero, essentially along US 41 and I-75, the National Weather Service, we are here at NBC2 seeing more signatures of rotation. So we have a tornado warning for southern portions of Lee County, including Bonita Springs, Coconut Point, Estero, San Carlos Park, right up I-75 and Highway 41. In fact, you know, if we can try to find some cameras, I know we have a camera at Seagate Development Group near Alico Road in I-75, so that might be a good camera where we can get a good vantage point. I know it's on Doppler 3. Let's go to Doppler 3 if we can. I just want to see if we can get any kind of good views and maybe some ground truth. You can see the rain coming down very heavily. This is a very strong storm producing some gusty winds right now. So it has not quite yet made it to that spot, but I want you to keep an eye on that camera in case we do see anything that's worth mentioning there, as we have a tornado warned cell for southern portions of Lee County, in addition to the tornado warned cell over the Cape right now that's showing some really strong signatures of twisting winds. Let's come back over to the Doppler 1 computer. So this tornado warning is set to expire at 12:15. So what I want to do right now is I want to go in a little bit closer and track some of these areas and really drill down to different communities. Now, I'll say that when I was looking at the rotation detection, I'm not going to show it to you because there's not a whole lot to decipher and there's just a lot of noise, but the rotation likely embedded in this area right through here. What we see on our live Doppler radar is a lot of heavy rain. So from Bonita Springs, Bonita Bay, Pelican Landing, Coconut Point, Estero, San Carlos Park, you are in that tornado warning. Let's go a little bit farther north just to give you a heads up. And let me do a little reset here and we'll zoom in over eastern sections of Lee County. So that's where we have that tornado warning. Sometimes it doesn't recognize my fingers. Okay, so let's go ahead and fly in here near JetBlue Park, around the Gateway community, along a tree line. Ben Hill Griffin, you are under this tornado warning. And let's draw a track as it continues to move to the north. It's moving due north at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. So these are some fast moving cells. And I'm going to draw the track right through here. We'll have it go right over the banner. No, it's not going to let me do that. Let me actually do a little bit of an adjustment. And that hopefully will work out a little bit better. Okay, we're on 40 miles per hour. So these are the areas that could be impacted here by this tornado around Shadowwood at 12 o'clock. If you're in the Copperleaf community, you need to be in a safe place. Hertz Arena at 12:04, Rookery Point 12:04, San Carlos Park, FGCU right there along Ben Hill Griffin and Treeline Avenue, Miramar Lakes at 12:07. And this is also working up toward RSW at Southwest Florida International Airport. So I know we've got a camera at the airport. We'll try to pull that up as well. But for those of you in this foreign area from Bonita Springs all the way up through the Forum, let me clear this so there's not quite as much clutter on the map. JetBlue Park, if you live near that area, Gateway, Lehigh Acres, and up near the Forum, think of I-75 and Highway 41. Those are the areas of concern right now. And looks like we're checking one of our FDOT cameras. Okay, so this is I-75 and Corkscrew Road. Is that what you said? Okay, yeah, so right around I-75 and Corkscrew Road. I know it's hard to see a whole lot there, but you can definitely see that we've got some rain coming down, but this is in that tornado-warned area. I'm going to send it back over to meteorologist Jim Dickey for an update on that tornado warning in Cape Coral.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Speaking of how quickly this storm is moving, we're now talking that area of rotation sliding just to the west of Matlacha, and I believe we have the Matlacha Bridge camera up on Doppler 3 still. Is that correct, Lauren? If we do have that source, have that in the corner of the screen so we can take a look. Well, there you go. We've actually cleared the rain out. Did it freeze on us? I think it might have frozen on us there. Okay, but that's exactly where we're talking about with this cell right now. There you go, Matlacha. It's this area of dark blue next to this area of lighter blue. That's your strong rotation area with this cell that is now lifting away from the western side of the Cape. This is going to clip right by the northwest end of Cape Coral, basically parallel Burnt Store Road as it heads out over the water. We're going to track this as it moves northward. So some times for you here. Pirate Harbor by 12:09, Charlotte Park by 12:16, Punta Gorda by 12:17, Rotunda by 12:18, and Port Charlotte El Jobin in particular. That appears to be, if this holds together, exactly where that wants to track. The western side of Port Charlotte up towards Northport, up towards El Jobin. So 12:20. That's speaking to how quickly this is moving. That's how quickly this is going to move from Matlacha to Port Charlotte. This thing is booking at about 50 miles per hour, and we've clocked wind gusts within this storm up over 80 miles per hour. So this is a storm you'll be hunkering down. In fact, all of the Cape, and you're under the tornado warning in the Cape. I do want to be clear right now, the area of rotation prompting this tornado warning is off to the west of Cape Coral now. This is moving more to the north and northwest, but Matlacha, you're under that area of rotation right now. But I do want you to be hunkering down all across the Cape. You want to be in that interior room for these strong winds moving through, tropical storm conditions widespread in this rain band. And as I sort of move this northward for you, you can get an idea, that arrow here, of where the storm is headed. This is going to ride right along the extreme western side of the Cape, stay just west of Pirate Harbor, Burnt Store Marina, Tropical Gulf Acres, and then head basically right up Charlotte Harbor into the Port Charlotte and the Northport areas. And as we've been trying to show you these camera views, I think it speaks to, actually go ahead and drop that camera views. Again, I'm pretty sure it appears frozen to me, but we're talking a rain-wrapped tornado. The rain is very heavy right now within this, so you're not going to see this potential tornado coming your way before it is upon you. So again, you want to be sure you are hunkering down, staying in the lowest level of your home, an interior room without doors and windows. Sit there until the storm passes. As we zoom in on street level, let me adjust that view for you a little bit here so we can get a closer view of what we're talking about. This is moving right over Pine Island Road right now, right to the due west of Matlacha, perhaps even right over Matlacha, is where this rotation, this strong area of rotation is in this cell right now, moving at about 50 miles per hour to the north and northwest. There's an update. So let's take a look at what that brings to us. We have very strong inbound winds going towards the radar here. Very strong winds right now on the northwest side of the Cape in this tornado-warned storm that we've been tracking for you since it moved on shore as a potential waterspout right over the Sanibel Causeway. 90-mile-per-hour winds being clocked by Tampa's radar within this storm right now. We have our outbounds at about 40, or our inbounds rather, about 40 miles per hour. So some very hefty rotation. And again, we look at the wider view, even outside of that tornado-warned storm, we are seeing some very strong winds across the Cape right now. We're still clocking wind gusts within this broader rain band, ways from Tampa's radar. So when you get away from the radar beam is sampling the middle and upper levels of the atmosphere. So the winds aren't quite to the surface. I think we could easily be gusting in excess of 60 miles per hour across the Cape right now. So certainly not something you want to be venturing out in. You want to hunker down and let this portion of the storm, this rain band, work its way through. In fact, if we have any views from downtown Fort Myers right now, I'd love to take a look at what they are showing here too, as we'd be looking right at the area of the storm. In fact, a little bit of concern here with this area of the storm as well. It's not the initial rotation area. I'd say we have two right now, one moving away from Matlacha, perhaps a secondary rotation area over the southwest side of the Cape here too. And this is something we're going to see in these rain bands that move in, these little pockets of spin that form up as those rain bands whip their way through. So I still want you to be hunkering down here in the Southwest Cape. We have the FDOT camera from the Matlacha Bridge. If we can take a look at that first area of rotation, my goodness, it is raining very heavily. So this is what I mean when I say a possible rain-wrapped tornado. You're not going to see this coming. What you are seeing here in this view, take that full once again so they can get the better view of what we're talking about here. The rain blowing sideways in those fierce wind gusts, easily 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts going on out there in parts of Southwest Florida right now. And I do not recommend doing what that resident is doing, driving across the Matlacha Bridge right now, as the conditions have gone downhill, as we're getting that first outer rain band from Hurricane Milton moving on shore here in Southwest Florida. Let's bring it back here and take a look at the wider view. I want to reset and see all the various warnings we have across the area. We're under tornado warning until 9 o'clock for good reason. We have numerous tornado warnings in effect right now for Southwest Florida. Our first tornado warning that we've been tracking for you, that includes Cape Coral, that includes Bokeelia, and that will extend northward into parts of Charlotte County. That one goes until 12:45. We have a second tornado warning for Central Lee County, including Estero, including Fort Myers. That goes until 12:15. And as Jason was talking about a few moments ago, the area of rotation looking a little less pronounced in that. I don't want to forget about our viewers out in Hendry County. We have another tornado warning for you. That includes Palmdale, just to the north and east of LaBelle. That goes until 12:30. Let's dial back in on the Cape right now. And Jason, if there's anything you want to point out, just go ahead and signal and we'll take it over to you. But we got the area of rotation moving away from Matlacha. So one area spin we're watching, another area of very strong winds right now over the southeast side of Cape Coral. Let's dive in to the Cape. We can take a look at what our radar is picking up with some of these winds right now. Hurricane conditions, I think, going on in parts of the Cape and the Southwest Cape. There you go. I'm pixeling an 86 mile per hour wind just to the south of Veterans Parkway. And note this enhanced area of wind and then weaker wind right next to it, not out of the realm of possibility. There's a little spin up funnel within that. Fierce winds regardless. So, bottom line, you want to be sure you're hunkering down and let these storms wash their way through. What are you seeing on your end, Jason?
Tornado.
Confirmed tornado.
It looks like the National Weather Service has confirmed a tornado there for that warned area in Cape Coral.
Lauren, if you want to get that information from the Weather Service, and as soon as you got it, shout it out. Jason, what are you seeing on your end there for the tornado warned storms in the area?
Yeah, and feel free to just let me know if you see anything else that is more pertinent right now. But I just want to update those of you under the other tornado warnings. So just to kind of recap and set the stage here, at 12:08, on this Wednesday afternoon, we are getting the outer rain bands, the first one arriving from Hurricane Milton. And as we talked about, isolated tornadoes, and that's what we were seeing right now. So we have a confirmed tornado near Cape Coral in this Warren area. We're going to get more information on that in just a moment. But I also want to let you know about this other tornado warning for Lee County that goes from just north of Bonita Springs, Estero, San Carlos Park, and basically anywhere here in that red box. I'm going to switch to a different mode. We know this as rotation tracker, and we are seeing some indications of some spin in this cell right around Estero Bay, and this would be closer, well, just north of Bonita Beach and out near Lover's Key and the Coconut Point area. So, you know, this section of Lee County from San Carlos Park to Coconut Point, please find a safe place. Do not try to look outside or walk outside to see what you can spot. You want to get into the innermost part of your home, away from walls, away from windows. We've already seen a couple of confirmed tornadoes. We've got one there for the Cape. But what I want to do is draw a track of where that rotation is. And here's the updated timeline. So locations like Estero in the next couple of minutes at 12:12. San Carlos Park at 12:15. I want to touch on as many communities as I can to give you that heads up. But 12:15, they're closer to the Villas and FGCU. Actually, the Villas around 12:22. And we're looking live. Okay, so this is the other tornado warn storm for the Cape Coral area. And we're looking at Del Prado and Cape Coral Parkway at our camera there. Obviously, the rain is coming down very heavily. We're looking at some very strong winds here. We've got cameras everywhere looking at different vantage points to see if we can find that tornado and give you a video of that. But basically anywhere in Cape Coral right now, you need to be in a safe place. Okay, let's come back to this. And if you see anything else on one of these cameras, one of these FDOT cameras, or any of our weather cameras, just please let me know. But I just want to make sure that we can see all this information in here for these other communities along I-75 and Highway 41. So Fort Myers, 12:30, 20 minutes from now, some rotation headed your way, a potential tornado. Buckingham, closer to 12:32 as it moves to the north at 40 miles per hour, also including JetBlue Park around the Treeline Avenue area and into Gateway. Okay, so that's what we've got going on with that particular tornado warning. Let me take a live look from Southwest Florida International. This is just to the north where we're seeing that spin in the atmosphere. I know it's going to be hard to see much because of the rain, and sometimes you get these rain-wrapped tornadoes and you can't even see it. So sometimes there's tornadoes that you cannot even see that's out there until it hits. So that's why we want you to get to a safe place right now. So there's our Private Sky Aviation Services camera as we look down to the south from the airport. And so we'll let you know as soon as we see any kind of indication that there could be a tornado there. Let's go to our 2-hour futurecast. For those of you seeing the worst of the weather currently, this is that first feeder band. I want to project it into the future because we are going to get a break. So watch the current time as we put this into motion. And across the Cape, across Lee County, as we get closer to about 1 o'clock. So let's say 50 minutes from now and through the 1 o'clock hour, this rain band will start to clear out. So we're going to get a bit of a breather. So we don't just track when everything's going to arrive, but also when it will start to exit. And we'll let you know when you can come out of your safe place. Also, something else that's brand new, and then I'm going to send it back over to meteorologist Jim Dickey. We have a new update from the National Hurricane Center on the big storm. That is Hurricane Milton. It's moving to the northeast at 17 miles per hour. And you can see the path that it's taken. So it will continue on that northeasterly track. We do expect it to eventually take a bend back over toward the east. The question is where does that happen? So there's still some uncertainty on an exact landfall point. Winds at 145 miles per hour. That has not changed since the 12 o'clock update. You might be thinking 12 o'clock update. I thought we only had advisories at 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Well, we're at the point now where the National Hurricane Center is issuing advisories at the top of every hour. So we'll have new information coming up for you basically every 60 minutes. But this is something else that's very important that I want to show you. And we'll be tracking this closely too. But the wind field, what you see in orange, those are tropical storm winds, and those have continued to expand. We talked about how the storm is going to double in size from yesterday morning up until it makes landfall. And you can see the outer extent of those tropical storm winds beginning to move into places like Cape Coral and coastal sections of Charlotte County. Let's take a larger view here just to give you an idea of how big the storm is. So this is Hurricane Milton, and the tropical storm winds go almost just over 300 miles across the area, and that darker red, those are the hurricane force winds, and that is just under 70 miles in diameter. And we're probably going to see this continue to expand, even though you might see that wind speed drop. One more thing I want to show you, and I'll send it back over to meteorologist Jim Dickey with an update on that Cape Coral tornado warning. This is the path that the storm has taken. This is the eye. This line that you see right here is the center line from the forecast cone. The reason I'm showing you this to you, because what we're going to be watching closely is if there's any deviation as this continues that northeasterly movement. Is it going to stay to the right of this line, or better yet for us, on the northern side of this line? So we're keeping a close eye on any kind of shifts or wobbles with the track. And just a slight shift can mean a big difference in terms of impacts that we're going to see here in Southwest Florida. Meteorologist Jim Dickey, I think you're maybe ready for an update on this Cape Coral tornado.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a confirmed tornado now.
Actually, yes, that was a confirmed tornado. That was the cell that was moving through Matlacha. Now, I've been watching the velocity trends and the rotation on the two areas I was watching in the Cape and Matlacha. They have, and you hear the alerts going off, because I'm watching in South Lee County, a new area that has really tightened in the last few moments. This is moving onshore, moving across Estero Bay, away from Fort Myers Beach, just to the south and west.
That's also a confirmed tornado there.
That is a confirmed tornado as well, and I believe it. We have a very strong rotation couplet just south of the forest. I believe we have a camera view from 41 in Gladiolus. If you want to pop that up in the corner, we'll keep an eye on that. If this is a very small view from me, but if anyone sees anything in that they want to point out, go ahead and bring that up. We're talking about the area just south and west of 41 in South Lee County. Here's 41. There's the Newport Glen condos. There's the forest. There's Michael G. Ripp Parkway. There's Alico Road. So this is just to the south and west of Alico Road, a storm that is moving to the due north at 50 miles per hour. This is moving very quickly, and it's raining very heavily. So you're not going to see this coming towards you. You want to be sure that you are in. This is for the entirety of the Fort Myers area right now. Anyone in the vicinity of 41 in the Fort Myers area from Alico Road all the way to downtown. I want you to be in your safe place, in your home, in your apartment, in your condo, the lowest level of your home. You want to be in an interior room, as few doors and windows as possible here. We're going to keep a close eye on this cell as well for us here too in the station, everyone, because this is actually coming pretty close to our location right now, I think, as this moves quickly off to the north and east. I want to draw a track for you, 50 miles per hour off to the north. This is going to go right towards downtown Fort Myers. I apologize for the scrolling going on. I'm just trying to get this as accurate as I possibly can as this moves toward downtown Fort Myers. Some times for you here. The Forest at 12:17, Villas by 12:20, Brookshire by 12:20. There's an update. Emerald Pines by 12:21, Green Gate at 12:21. I'm going to keep this track here. I want you at home to keep an eye on these as they update. But again, we're talking a pronounced area of rotation, a confirmed tornado in this cell that is moving through the South Fort Myers area right now. Let me get down to street level. This is racing quickly, moving off to the north and east at 50 miles per hour. This is over the Villas area now as we speak. Trying to get in and zoom in on that cell so we can get a closer look at what we're talking about here, the roads we're talking about. The area of rotation is just west of 41. This is moving up Cypress Lake. There's College Parkway. There's Cypress Lake. This is moving right up and to the due east, just barely east of Summerlin Road. Here's 41. There's Colonial. So this is going to cross Colonial in the next few moments here. Again, a very strong signature of rotation within this cell that moved onshore in the South Fort Myers area. I know you have those tornado warnings still in the Cape, in the Punta Gorda area. I have been watching the velocity. This is the one that if any of them have a tornado on the ground right now, this one right here. Bell Tower marked on your map. There's Villas. This is just to the west of you. Very strong winds, very strong rotation within this. I'm going to go ahead and get another track on this for you. There you go, the forest, moving over the forest right now, moving away from the forest right now. Cypress Lake, 1222, Village 1222, already in the Village area. I want to draw a new track on this because that is not quite encompassing that area of rotation here within the cell. Moving off to the north and west at 20 miles per hour. If we have our camera view from downtown Fort Myers, if we can swing that around to the south, that is what I would like to do. Because that would have a great view of what is working in that view from Edison Grand, because this is going to go right towards downtown Fort Myers. There you go, some times for you. Emerald Pines by 1220, the Retreat by 1224. There's an update. So downtown Fort Myers, we're talking 10 minutes from now, a little bit less than that, 1227. That is when that area of rotation is going to move over you. It does appear to have broadened ever so slightly on this last update. I know there's a lot flashing on your screen here. Let me zoom in. The area we're talking about is right along 41. There's Pagefield Airport. There's the Villas community. And this is the area of rotation we're talking about. This is paralleling 41, moving to the north at 50 to 55 miles per hour. This is going to go right up into downtown Fort Myers here. So again, strategy, lowest level of your home. Interior room, as many or as few doors and windows as you can manage it. An interior bathroom, a interior closet, an interior hallway. Your strategy, the storm is coming in out of the south. Put as many walls between you and the cell as you can possibly manage. We're talking a strong rotation signature, a confirmed tornado warning for this cell in South Lee County, moving through the Fort Myers area right along 41. Moving at 50 miles per hour off to the north right now in the downtown Fort Myers area. If you have that camera, guys, Edison Grant, swing that around. I want to take a look at what we're seeing here. Now, we're probably not seeing much. Let's dive in even further. We have our tower camera looking southward. Bring that full so I can get a view of what we're seeing from it. Some very heavy rain. That's what we're talking about when we say a rain-wrapped tornado. The area of rotation here, you're not going to be able to see this funnel working towards you. If possible, I think we're looking, is this looking towards downtown right now? Is this looking south?
That's Edison Grand.
This is our Edison Grand camera. Okay, so again, what we're talking about, a rain-wrapped tornado, you have no visibility. So you're not going to see where this funnel is, which is why everybody now from Colonial on northward in Fort Myers, you need to be hunkering down in your safe space, that interior room, as few doors and windows as possible, and hunker down, stay low to the ground and wait until this storm passes by. And it is moving very quickly right over Pine Manor at this point in time, working north of Crystal Drive, just to the north of Brantley Road, right along Summerlin in downtown Fort Myers. Between Summerlin and 41, if there's a tornado on the ground, there's the hideaway. Right along 41 is where we have that area of rotation, potential funnel within that, moving up 41 at 50 miles per hour, paralleling Summerlin, paralleling 41. I want to try to get a track back on this for you as quickly as I can. And the camera's looking at Pine Manor now. Take that full so I can get a view of what we're talking about here with that camera view. The rain clearing out a little bit, which might be indicative of those stronger winds, perhaps that rotation within the cell. So this is from our tower camera at the station, yes?
Yep.
Yeah, we're seeing heavy rain. I'm not seeing any indication of a funnel right now, but you know, oftentimes when you have these areas, these strong areas of rotation, you do get a clearing as that funnel begins to move its way toward the area. So this is the location we're talking about. So this is from our tower camera right along Colonial. Everybody from Colonial on northward to the Caloosahatchee and downtown Fort Myers, and then North Fort Myers, you're next for this rotating thunderstorm. Again, your strategy here, lowest level of your home, interior room, put as many walls, and we're talking south-facing walls between you and this cell as it moves in. You can see the wind moving the rain on our camera view here. So again, even outside of any rotation, we are talking some very fierce winds within this cell. Jason, I don't know what you're seeing on your end there, but if you want to take it over, you can take a look at what you're seeing on your end.
Yeah, you know, we have a lot of products to detect some of that rotation, and this is another one that looks at the shear inside the storm or the cell. So this is a little bit of a different color coding compared to what you were seeing with meteorologist Jim Dickey. But I want to highlight the area of concern right now. And this is right around the villas out toward McGregor Boulevard and Highway 41. Do you see that little pop of color? This is our NBC2 First Alert live Doppler radar picking up on that rotation so we can isolate the area where we're looking at that potential tornado. So let me clear this off, and we're going to go as close in as we can to see exactly which areas could be dealing with that tornado. So this is right along College Parkway up through Pine Manor as we go a little bit farther north. If you're near Colonial Boulevard and US 41, so this entire section and really all the way out to I-75. So Colonial, US 41, McGregor Boulevard. If you live anywhere in this zone, you need to go to a safe place, get away from the walls, get away from the windows. There could be a potential tornado with this cell, and we're looking at all of our cameras to see if there's any ground truth to that, to see if we can find it. But as meteorologist Jim Dickey was also mentioning, sometimes that can be difficult because these are rain wraps. So what I want to do, since we're getting this new perspective here, so we're focused on this area of rotation here as it continues to the north at 40 miles per hour. Let me zoom out a little bit more. These cells are moving just so quickly, so I just want to make sure I have enough room to draw that track to give you a heads up of which communities will be impacted. So this is heading right toward downtown Fort Myers. So let's draw this as it moves up to the north at about 40 miles per hour, so right there. So let's move this over so you can see it. The Oasis condominium. So if you know where that is, it's right along the Caloosahatchee River near the downtown Fort Myers area. You've got about 5 minutes before this starts to move in, okay? So don't think just because you see it down near Colonial Boulevard and south of there that you have some time. Go to your safe place now. Rivers Edge Mobile Home Park, 1232. Get to a safe place. Kara's Village at 1234. Palmona Park, 1234. You can just see some of these estimated arrival times, even north of the river for North Fort Myers at 1234. So you don't have a whole lot of time, about 10 minutes as this races off to the north at 40 miles per hour. That tornado warning in effect until 12:45, so another 20 minutes. But I've got a feeling based on some of the signatures that we're seeing of that rotation that could be extended. So please take this very seriously. This is kind of the first phase of the impacts that we're seeing with Hurricane Milton right now, the tornado threat. All of Southwest Florida under a tornado watch until 9 o'clock tonight. Let me switch to a different mode here just to get to look at a different vantage point. We're going to look at what we call velocity, which analyzes how the winds are moving inside of the thunderstorm. So we can kind of get an inside look at what the storm is doing. So let me go ahead and clear this here for you. And I want to circle the area that is of greatest concern. And actually, you can hear the winds picking up at the TV station here. So there's that. And let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit more. And it looks like that area of rotation perhaps is right near the Midpoint Bridge now. So between the Midpoint Bridge and the Cape Coral Bridge, here's Colonial Boulevard. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and take our tower cam shot. Yeah, let's keep on taking these camera shots to see if we can find any kind of lowering of the clouds or a potential tornado on the ground. Okay, so yeah, our tower cam is pointed toward Highway 41 and downtown Fort Myers. So this is the area right through here where we're seeing those twisting winds and a potential tornado. So this would include far eastern portions of Cape Coral. Looks like actually we just got a brand new scan on the NBC2 First Alert live Doppler radar. The hope is that we will continue to see this to weaken, or at least weaken at some point, but we just haven't seen that yet. So right there, here's the Midpoint Bridge, right along the Caloosahatchee into downtown Fort Myers. There's that signature that has us concerned with some twisting winds inside of this cell, and this tornado warning set to expire about 20 minutes from now as it races off up to the north. So please go to your safe place. Central Fort Myers, the downtown area, even concerned about far northeastern portions of Cape Coral. Let me zoom in just a little bit tighter so you can get a better idea. We'll go street level and really drill down on which communities could be impacted. So let's fly right in here. So now let's say between the Midpoint Bridge in downtown Fort Myers, this is around the Whiskey Creek area, right along McGregor Boulevard. So here's the Caloosahatchee River, and this is out toward closer to JC Park and the Northeast Cape Coral. So this is the section of the storm where we're analyzing some of those twisting winds. Meteorologist Jim Dickey is also analyzing this storm. Jim, does it appear to you that this is maybe tightening up a little bit in the last few minutes?
Yeah, I think so. So I think what we're seeing is sort of portions of the storm wrapping up, portions of the storm breaking down, wrapping up. And Jason just pointed out the area in particular of most concern in this cell. You have right here just north of the midpoint now, and this is going to ride right up the northeastern side of the Cape and North Fort Myers. So staying just to the west of downtown Fort Myers, this has already crossed over the Caloosahatchee. There's Hancock Bridge Parkway. We're talking Hancock Bridge Parkway east of Del Prado. That is where the storm is going to move in the next few moments. And again, I can't emphasize enough, this possible tornado is rain wrapped. You're not going to see it coming. So don't be going to your window and try to see this potential funnel out there. You're not going to see anything. You just want to hang tight in that interior room and stay put until this passes by. I want to try to get a track on this for you and take this on a more north and northwesterly course, as that appears to be how that has moved in the last few moments, racing at 50 miles per hour. And just a caveat on all of this, because again, we've seen areas of rotation spin up, wind down, spin up, wind down. And I think that will continue to occur. The corner of your screen, there's some times for you here. The Lockmore Villa condos at 12:33, Tropic Terrace at 12:33, Palm Island and 12:34. So we're talking the next 5 minutes. The Northeast Cape, just sort of in general here, the Northeast Cape at 12:35, Pomona Park at 12:36, and North Fort Myers at 12:46. North Fort Myers is marked on our map east of 41. We're talking more the area west of 41 in North Fort Myers as you head up towards Pine Island Road. That is where this area of rotation is tracking. This is a view there in the corner of the Edison Bridge where we're seeing very strong winds. In fact, go ahead and take this full right now. This is one of the spots where we're seeing some of those fierce winds. And this is not a time that you're going to be out there like these folks are on the roadways in Fort Myers and Cape Coral. Even outside of the potential for a tornado within this cell, we are clocking winds. I'm clocking them right now in real time at 80 plus miles per hour aloft, but we're easily seeing gusts. In fact, if either of you can take a look at what the gust was at Page Field Airport as that moved through, I'm sure we got a reading from Page Field.
Cape Coral tornado warning has been allowed to expire, the one that was issued earlier.
Right. So now we are focusing in specifically on that cell that is over downtown Fort Myers. And as we speak here, I do think that area of rotation that's of most concern within that cell is actually a little bit outside of that tornado warning box. It's right on the border there, just north of the Midpoint Bridge, waiting for an update here, this latest scan to come in from our radar. Let's make sure we have the latest. This is quickly moving towards North Fort Myers, towards the Northeast Cape. There's an update. There's a new scan. It is broadening a little bit. We still have very, very strong winds here. Let me pixel some of these winds across the North Fort Myers, the downtown Fort Myers area. Now, again, we're watching from Tampa's radar, so it's a ways up in the atmosphere by the time it gets here to the Fort Myers area, but wind gusts potentially in the range of 70 to 80 miles per hour, the equivalent of the strongest thunderstorm you can think of is what we're dealing with here as this cell is moving through the Fort Myers area. There's Colonial under an area where we're clocking winds at 80 plus miles per hour. The strong winds extend out to about Gateway. We're seeing gusty winds towards Buckingham, towards Lehigh Acres. is not the time to be heading out on the roadways. Let this rain band pass. We have a little bit of a break in the action once this rain band lifts its way northward. So wait for that to pass. If you're still trying to rush some last minute preps here, you will sort of get our grip here, and we'll get back to talking about Milton, the latest with the storm, the latest from the Hurricane Center. Let's take a break. We'll come right back with more coverage on Hurricane Milton.
With some of those that are in those cells that are more active. And again, to the south, as we're looking around Port Charlotte and into Fort Myers and Boca Grande, we do have more active storms in that band as well, and the potential for some rotation as that's working its way around the storm. And right now, we do not have any active warnings that I can see in those southern counties. Those have expired as well. So in better shape there than we were previously. And again, those heavier bands of rain will continue to create accumulating rainfall as they work their way around. And that can also lead to some, at a minimum, ponding on the road. So best at this point, really to stay off the roads, and the winds picking up right now. You can see we've got current wind speeds that are sustained between 15 to almost 40 miles per hour. And it's only going up from here. All right, back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Shay. An update now from Hardee County. Their shelters will be closing for intake at 2 p.m., so you only have a little bit of time to get there. After 2 p.m., they will not be allowing anyone else in to ride out Hurricane Milton, so please go now, as you only have about an hour and a half left.
And Pinellas County reached capacity at 3 emergency storm shelters. They're at Largo High School, Lellman Innovation Academy, and Palm Harbor University Building 19. That's for people with special needs.
And the county has 11 shelters that are still accepting residents right now. A full list can be found at pinellas.gov/shelters, and more storm information can be found at disaster.pinellas.gov. All right, let's go to Shore Acres now in St. Petersburg. It's really prone to flooding even during a typical afternoon storm, and sadly, that specific area was really hit hard just a couple weeks ago by Hurricane Helene.
Yeah, it was. ABC Action News reporter Larissa Scott has been out there all morning. And Larissa, the big issue we talked about earlier is all of the debris that is still there from Helene and how dangerous that could become later today.
Yeah, and guys, first I want to talk about the conditions that they have really deteriorated in the past hour. We have some pretty heavy rains, and these winds are just really starting to pick up and whip. And so that's been the concern, that as these winds pick up, these huge piles of debris will become dangerous projectiles as the day goes on. Unfortunately, we have seen house after house after house
tornado warning issued. So let's go ahead and get you the latest on this, because again, we are still seeing significant winds. Let's go ahead and take a look at this from a different angle here. This is again over Gilchrist, over Porta Vista, over North Fort Myers here, and we are seeing this over Horizon Village, Northeast Cave, downtown Fort Myers, and I'm seeing a pretty concerning area right here. So when we see these greens and these vivid blues popping up, again, this would be over the Caloosahatchee. This would be moving very quickly off toward the north at about 50 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and pixel some of this so you can see what type of winds we are talking about here. Downtown Fort Myers, back toward the Forum and up toward Tice and North Fort Myers, you can see some of these winds out of this tornado warning here. So as I zoom on out so you can get the broader picture for a moment, I want to show you the latest because this just got issued, pushing eventually into Charlotte County. Babcock Ranch actually included in this. This is in effect until 1 p.m. So let's go ahead and switch this back over to radar so you can see what we're dealing with. Lots of lightning with this particular storm, lots of heavy rain. We're also monitoring closely the National Weather Service chat to see if any reports or confirmed reports come out of these. But if you are within this tornado warning, what you need to be doing and what you should have already been doing as we see Hurricane Milton quickly approaching the Gulf Coast is you want to be indoors away from walls and windows. So put as many walls in between you and this storm as possible. Get into an interior room, and if you're in a 2-story home, get to the lowest level of your home. That storm surge threat not picking up until closer to the late afternoon and into tonight. So the imminent threat, this tornado warning. Let's show you some communities that are included in this. So this includes up toward South Punta Gorda Heights, Tropical Gulf Acres, Pirate Harbor. This takes us down 41 and I-75 all the way down even over into downtown Fort Myers and back east toward areas like Fort Myers Shores and the Veranda. This takes us even into the Forum just north of Colonial and Colonial Country Club here. So switching this back over to velocity, let's go ahead and see what some of the winds are within this. And you can see this area of concern here, especially for this area over downtown Fort Myers. So as I take a look at this from a different angle, I want to see if we can get any other perspective. And we're getting new radar scans as this comes in. We are still seeing significant areas of rotation. This area in particular, just north of Gilchrist, to the east of South Punta Gorda Heights here, to the west of Tucker's Corner. And we're still seeing these moving very, very quickly here. So if you are anywhere within this tornado warning, you need to be seeking shelter from a lot of these very impactful winds. So let's go ahead and pixel some of this as well. This is a pretty pronounced signature we're seeing just to the southwest of Vermont. And this is we're looking at the Lee and Charlotte County lines here. So we're looking just east of downtown Punta Gorda, just north of Gilchrist and north of Babcock Ranch. Let's go ahead and move farther to the south and see if there are any other areas of significant rotation. Again, still seeing, even if we're not seeing confirmed tornadoes on the ground, we are still seeing dangerous, strong winds out of this. So Bayshore Commons, North Fort Myers, Tice. I want to go ahead and put a track on this particular area. We're seeing putting out some decent rotation over North Fort Myers here, and we are constantly seeing some of these values, 60, 70, 80 mile per hour winds. So let's go ahead and put a track on this. First, let's check in and see how fast these are moving. These have been flying, you can see, to the north at 56 miles per hour here. So eventually this will be working into Morgantown. If this holds, 102 Peace River Shores, 103 Fort Ogden, 107. And we're going to continue to be monitoring this warning. But for a moment, I want to zoom out again and give you the full picture of what exactly we are dealing with. Hurricane Milton is still a powerful Category 4 storm, and we can actually see this on a radar. You can actually see the eye wall associated with Hurricane Milton. It is still on track to make landfall late tonight around midnight. And with these outer bands, we are seeing these lashing Southwest Florida. And so you can see all of those areas of rotation that have been tornado warned so far over the past few hours continue to have a way to receive weather alerts. This is now confirmed. You can see that flashing purple. So a confirmed tornado warning until 1 p.m. So this is in effect for Lee, eventually into Charlotte County. I'm going to send it over to meteorologist Jim Dickey. What are you seeing from your perspective?
Yeah, sure. I'm trying to watch this on radar as well. In fact, if you can go ahead and pop up ABC Doppler 2, I have the Babcock Ranch camera up there. This is just to the west of the Babcock Ranch area, the area of rotation that we're seeing here. Uh-oh, looks like we jumped around a little bit. There we go. We have our area of rotation that is off to the west of Babcock Ranch. moving through the North Fort Myers area, right along Bayshore. So Bayshore right here, Bayshore Road, running down into the North Fort Myers area, crossing 41, Pine Island Road. And there's your area that we're watching with that rotation right now, the confirmed tornado. There was a debris signature picked up within this, meaning kicking up some debris within this tornadic thunderstorm. And this is what we're going to be watching for you. There's these individual cells. So we have FDOT with I-75. Go ahead and take that full so we can get a look at what we're seeing there. Tucker's Grade we have now. Go ahead and take that full. That's 75 near Tucker's Grade. So that's a ways off to the south of where that area of rotation is. We're talking right along Bayshore right now in the North Fort Myers area, moving quickly to the north at 50 miles per hour. I'm going to get a track on this for you. Go ahead, take the AWS camera in downtown Fort Myers so we can take a look on AWS. And this is one of the big concerns with these areas of rotation is that you simply cannot see all that much in these cells. Bring it back to me. We can get some times on where this area of rotation is tracking. Slater by 1247, Gilchrist by 1250, Morgantown by 110, Peace River Shores and Deep Creek by 112. We're talking just along the Caloosahatchee, and these things are moving quickly at about 50 miles per hour. So anybody watching from the North Fort Myers area, you want to be sure, again, lowest level of your home, interior room, put as many walls, south-facing walls, between you and this incoming cell as possible for the confirmed tornado warning. If either you get any information on how that was confirmed, I would love to hear it from the Weather Service. Get any pictures, any videos in, bring those up immediately as well. The area, I want to zoom back in and get a closer view, get down to street view of what we're talking about with this area of spin. And of note, this is moving so quickly that this is likely already off to the north of Bayshore, but there is Bayshore Road, there's Slater Road, and there's your update. So if anything, this is moving a little more to the north, this area of spin here. It's now to the north of Bayshore. There's State Road 31. There's the Babcock Ranch community. This is due west of Babcock Ranch, moving quickly to the north. There's Now Grade Road, Lynn Road, Now Road, Durant's Road, and Bayshore. So all those little roads that connect up to Bayshore here, just down the road from the Civic Center, that's where this area of spin and that confirmed tornado would be right now, crossing 75 in around the North Fort Myers area, lifting away from North Fort Myers. I'm going to try to get another track on this for you. This area, very pronounced rotation within this cell, off to the east of the Heritage, right along 75. So if we have any cameras right near the Charlotte and Lee County line on 75, that's where this appears to be tracking right now, and we can get a view of what we're talking about. Yeah, this looks like it's jogged just a bit to the west. Yes, Jason.
Just wanted to tell you what the National Weather Service is reporting and why they're confirming it a tornado, where that source is coming from. So they're reporting it at 12:41, just 5 minutes ago, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located over Pomona Park or near Fort Myers, moving north at 25 miles per hour. And this was confirmed by a spotter.
Okay, we have those very strong winds right now within the cell, that very strong, pronounced area of rotation that looks to be just east of 75. You see where Gilchrist is marked on our map. That's where this area of rotation is. It is just to the west of William Drive. This is just to the west of Lynn Road. This is I-75. So again, any traffic cameras we have on 75 near the Charlotte and Lee County line, near Tucker's Grade, that is where this area of strong rotation is right now. I'm trying to look at some different products to see if we got any debris signatures within that, and really hone in on what we're talking about as far as that area of spin and that potential tornado within that cell. Yeah, we have clearly working to the north and west there, that very strong rotation within this cell. That's near where Gilchrist is marked on this map. There's 75. And there is your area of spin. We're going to keep on this as this moves quickly to the north. Again, we're talking about 50 miles per hour. Some spots for you. There's the Babcock Ranch community. This is 31. This is 75. And this area of rotation, this strong couplet on radar, is moving right up 75 right now. and moving quickly to the north and the northwest. If we can take that Fort Myers camera again, if we have that, I just want to get a view of what we're talking about, just to give those of you that are watching from these areas along 75, close to the Lee and Charlotte County line, the issue we face in that these are what we call rain wrapped. There's heavy rain within these areas of rotation, so you can't see them coming. This is now moving more to the north. We just got a new update. We have our strong area of rotation located just to the east now of Gilchrist. This is right along the Lee and Charlotte County line, just to the west of 31 and the Babcock Ranch community. This is, there's 31, there's Babcock Ranch. We're now crossing over into Charlotte County. We're talking west of Babcock Ranch. In fact, I have the Babcock Ranch camera up on Doppler 2 ABC. Bring that up. I just want to see what that's looking like right now. The area of the strongest winds is just off to the west, but those winds are howling all the same. The rain going sideways. Again, the area of rotation is to your west. And if either of you, Lauren or Jason, can try to swing that camera so we can look more to the west, because this is looking off to the east towards our interior areas there in Charlotte County, but certainly not something you want to be out there in Babcock Ranch either. But bring it back to me here. We can hone in on that area of rotation once again. Let's put a track on this. This is going into the forest here, so moving away from 75, but a very pronounced area of rotation, a very dangerous storm. If you're watching from the Babcock Ranch community or any of those areas along 31 west of 31, that's generally where this is tracking. You want to be sure you are in your safe space in your home, an interior room, as few doors and windows as you can manage it. I'm going to track this now due north, get an idea where that's going. Right up, staying just to the west of 31, here in the just west of the Babcock Ranch area, paralleling 31 and tracking off to the north at 50 miles per hour. And even outside of that, those winds are very strong in and around the Babcock Ranch community right now. I'm clocking winds. In fact, keep that Babcock Ranch camera up as that area of stronger winds is nearing the area. You go ahead and bring that full. We can get a closer look at some of those winds we're seeing right now in Babcock Ranch. Winds whipping out of the east to try to meet that cell. Your couplet has just crossed the Lee and Charlotte County line. It's along William Drive. It is just to the west of Susan Drive, just to the east of the Gilchrist area. If you want to pop up the HERC again so we can look at the area we're talking about, you see the Babcock Ranch camera in the corner of your screen. There's the Babcock Ranch community off of 31. This is not all that far off to the west and moving generally off to the north and east. So there's Horseshoe Road. There's communities along Horseshoe Road. Williams Drive off to the north. That very tight couplet on radar is moving in your direction and moving quickly. This cell is moving at 50 miles per hour. So there is not much time for you to be thinking about getting ready. You got to get to your safe place now, your interior room now, your room without doors, without windows. Put as many south-facing walls between you and this approaching cell as possible. Interior closet, interior hallway, interior bathroom. That is your aim with this cell, this confirmed tornado-warned storm with still a very pronounced couplet right now. Okay, we move the camera, take that full again, because again, I think it does a good job of illustrating what we're talking about when we say a rain-wrapped tornado. We're looking directly towards, from our Babcock Ranch camera, where that area of rotation would be, which is just due west now of the Babcock Ranch community, and you can't see a thing. It is pouring. So don't go to your window and try to view this, this funnel moving in right now, this confirmed tornado moving in right now, a dangerous tornado on the ground, moving into South Charlotte County. Don't go to your window, try to see it. You're not going to see it. Stay in your safe room in your home, that interior room, interior hallway, interior bathroom. Hang tight, stick around until this storm passes by. It is just to the west of 31. We have crossed over Cook Brown Road, and this is going to pass right to the west of Tucker's Corner. And as it continues to race to the north at 50 plus miles per hour. Lauren, if there's something you're seeing on your end, you want to take it over, we can go ahead and take it over to the wall from here.
well, what they did is they extended that tornado warning farther to the north. So we're still monitoring this confirmed tornado warning just to the northwest of Babcock Ranch now, but we also have another new tornado warning I want to get you to as well. So farther to the south, this includes a big portion of Collier County, a new tornado warning in effect now until 1:15. So let's show you what we're seeing with this. So as we take you over to different products here so we can get a different angle of these storms. If you live in Golden Gate, again, this is along Alligator Alley, Golden Gate Estates, the vineyards as well. Seek shelter. We have seen these tornadoes spinning up very quickly this morning, but let's show you the confirmed tornado warning again, because this, I want to play this back over the last 30 minutes or so you can see where this spun up. I know that for those of you who live in downtown Fort Myers along the Caloosahatchee and even up into North Fort Myers, you have been included in this confirmed tornado warning, but watch as this really starts to come together over the last 15 minutes or so. So we were looking at significant winds, but look at that area of rotation there. So for those of you in downtown Fort Myers and North Fort Myers, you are technically included in this, but the threat is well north of you. This is now passing northwest of Babcock Ranch. And as we look farther to the north, since they have now extended that tornado warning and it is confirmed, this is going to be now extended to include places like Sparkman and some of these street names, Knott's Sterry Road, State Highway 31, Farabee Road as well. And it does appear that we are still seeing significant rotation. So when we're measuring this out, we are still seeing this moving very quickly to the north at almost 50 miles per hour. So putting this measuring tool on, it's 7 miles to the northwest of Babcock Ranch. And I want to pixel this so we can see exactly what winds we're talking about here. This is our product velocity here. So we're looking at what type of winds this is putting out. Again, we've had numerous areas of rotation so far this morning. This is a confirmed tornado. So we are seeing this as a very impressive signature on velocity here. When we're looking at this, we're looking to see winds that are both going away and toward the radar. So let's show you as we zoom on in where this is really heading toward Vermont. Heads up for you, this is right about to be on top of you. So this is to the southwest. And like we've been talking about, there's a lot of lightning with this nasty storm. There's very heavy rain as well. So you will not be able to see this here. So this is along State Highway 31 up toward Vermont. We are seeing very significant rotation. This is just to the west of Tucker's Corner. And this is already north of Babcock Ranch. So Babcock, I know you're included in this still. And for those of you in Punta Gorda included in this, I do expect this to pass just to the east of you. So as I zoom on out, I want to put a track on this again. This has been extended to include more parts of Charlotte County to the east of Port Charlotte and to the east of Punta Gorda. And if this held, eventually it would be working into DeSoto County. So Arcadia, you need to watch this very closely as well. So this is moving to the north at almost 50 miles per hour. And we're going to keep watching this very, very closely because, again, a confirmed tornado warning. All right, looks like another tornado warning also popping up now again to include more portions of Lee County. So this includes areas like River Hall, Alva, Lehigh Acres. We are seeing a lot of these bands associated with Milton producing significant winds and at times some areas of rotation. So let's go ahead and switch back over to a different product here so we can pixel some of this. And I am seeing a concerning area over North Fort Myers, downtown Fort Myers as well. So it's this area right here. And you can see this to the north of Green Edge, north of Cypress Preserve. Jim, what are you seeing from your perspective? Because we are still seeing significant rotation now popping up very quickly over downtown Fort Myers heading north.
Yeah, this is kind of how this has played out over the last few moments. We have numerous areas of rotation that are sort of spinning up, tightening up within that broader rain band. I think we have our tower camera. Take that full. What are we looking at here? I think I see a lowering wall cloud. So we're looking northward towards the North Fort Myers area. I'm not seeing a funnel within that, but this is looking toward that area of rotation that that Lauren just pointed out. So we have that lowering wall cloud and potentially a funnel within that. We're looking north towards downtown Fort Myers. We're looking across the Caloosahatchee towards North Fort Myers. Let me dial in to that cell. This is quickly moving away from the Caloosahatchee. Keep that view up. Jason, keep a close eye on that. If you see any type of funnel, be sure to call it out and bring it back so we can take a look at what we're talking about here, the areas that need to be most concerned with that area within that tornado warned storm. This is along 41. This is near where Buccaneer is marked, Old Bridge Village, Bay Shore Commons. There's Easy Street in North Fort Myers, Bahia Lane. There's Epson Drive. That's the area of rotation within that cell that we're looking at from our tower camera. Take that tower camera full again so we can get a closer view. A very pronounced lowering wall cloud, clear rotation being picked up on our radar. Not seeing a funnel touching down within that, but if you're in the North Fort Myers area right now, just as we've been telling you, see how quickly the clouds are moving across the sky. These storms are moving at a 50-mile-per-hour clip, and we've been watching numerous areas spin up within it. So here's your lowering wall cloud from our tower camera looking towards North Fort Myers. That is the area now where we do have that intense sort of couplet trying to spin up a new area of rotation, starting to spin up. There's a new update. Let's bring it back here so we can take a look at where that rotation is now. I know there's a lot flashing on your screen. There's multiple tornado warnings we're tracking for you right now, but it's in North Fort Myers. This is just to the east of US 41 and just to the west of Bayshore. This is moving off to the north. Easy Lane, Laurel Drive, Bahia Lane, Shelby Lane, Mellow Drive, some of the spots in North Fort Myers where this area of rotation is moving in right now, where you want to be sure. Again, your strategy here, I know I've said it a number of times, if you're just tuning in, if you just got that new alert to your phone in North Fort Myers, lowest level of your home, interior room. As few doors and windows, you can think maybe an interior hallway, interior bathroom, interior closet. Put as many south-facing walls between you and that cell as possible. And you're hearing the tones here. Those are the various tornado warnings that continue to be issued in this rain band as we see more of these areas of spin within these cells. I want to take a look again at our cell over Charlotte County. This is still a pronounced area of rotation. It's over the sort of forest now west of 31, but this is going to cross Vermont Road in the next few moments between Tucker's Corner and between South Punta Gorda Heights. This is our confirmed tornado warning. This potentially still a strong, dangerous tornado on the ground. Oftentimes with these landfalling hurricanes, we talk about, hey, quick spin up funnels. That is not the case we've seen this morning. These are large and dangerous tornadoes that have been confirmed in many of these cells, and we have our, just as I speak here, this moves further to the north. So this is going to cross Vermont Road in the next few moments. I want to put a track on this confirmed tornado warned storm for you. Let's track it to the north and northwest at 50 plus miles per hour. Lots of lightning with this cell here too. We're going to watch this closely. Arcadia. Not saying necessarily that we'll hold that rotation all the way to Arcadia, but you need to pay close attention. We're talking in just about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. That's when this cell, this area of rotation, this confirmed tornado will be moving towards you. Fort Ogden by 120s. This is going to cross Vermont Road in moments, cross the Charlotte and DeSoto County line, and head up the 17 corridor toward Fort Ogden, towards Arcadia. Lauren, are you seeing anything with that cell there in the Fort Myers area right now?
I am seeing an area of concern, mainly back along Palm Beach Boulevard. And I just want to make note, the National Weather Service saying that we have had 5 confirmed tornadoes so far today. So a bit of an outbreak going on. And we are seeing this significant in areas like Alva, along State Road 80. I mean, look at the signature here along River Hall. Olga, you were included in this along North River Road. So again, this is just to the east of downtown Fort Myers. Frank Road along Palm Beach Boulevard. This is an area I am particularly concerned about. We are seeing this continuing to push to the north at about 50 miles per hour. So it's not uncommon to see a lot of these tornadoes during tropical events. And we do have a live look here. It looks like over downtown Fort Myers here. If we could go ahead and take that full for a moment, this is within that tornado warning here. And you can see we are still looking at a lot of rain with this, but in the distance there, we're looking at potentially that area of rotation, trying to zoom in the camera for you so we can see this as well. This is from the Edison Grand in downtown Fort Myers. And there you go. We are looking at in the distance there again, looking toward North Fort Myers, heading over the Caloosahatchee. It's difficult to pinpoint a lot of these because a lot of this is rain wrapped. We are seeing these with a lot of heavy rain, but as you look there, if we can see this as we look in the distance, but again, a lot of this is hard to depict with all of the rain. I want to get back out to radar so we can see what we're tracking as well. So we are looking at this again. This area of concern, particularly over just east of Fort Myers Shores, Olga River Hall. We are still seeing a pretty significant area of rotation. So let's put a track on this particular cell as this generally is moving off toward the north at about 50 miles per hour. And we are still seeing significant rotation even just north of that as well, north of Babcock Ranch. So this has been that confirmed tornado we've been watching for a while, over toward just crossing into the Charlotte County line and eventually going to be pushing into DeSoto here. So this is another area we need to be watching very closely, honing on into some of these street names again. Vermont, we're still seeing significant rotation over you, lots of lightning with this as well. This is heading towards Sparkman, and this is still putting out significant rotation. So let's pixel this and show you what we're talking about. Anytime you see those greens popping up against those reds, we're looking at areas going toward and away from the radar here. So a lot of lightning, and that's always a good tool to use to determine if that overall thunderstorm is weakening or not. So let's go ahead for a moment, and then I'm going to send it back over to you, Jim, to just reset and show you, because we're dealing with a lot as Hurricane Milton continues to work toward the Florida Gulf Coast. So let's switch this back over to radar and just show you the overall picture of what we're dealing with. So you can see the eye wall of Milton sitting well off of our coast. But as I play this back, you can see as this continues to barrel toward Florida, all of this outer moisture and those feeder bands, it's a lot of spin that we're dealing with, producing a lot of tornadoes. And again, 5 confirmed so far. Jim, what are you seeing from your perspective?
Yeah, I'm seeing another area tightening up to the south there of what we were tracking earlier on. I see 3 areas of concern right now in that broader rain band. We have that same confirmed tornadic cell that is moving right now across Vermont Road. Here's a second area. This is due west of Babcock Ranch, due west of 41. That one looks a little bit weaker in this latest scan that came in. And then to the south of that, and this is the one I want to dial in on here, and I know there's lots of flashing polygons. It's a very active situation. The Weather Service is catching up with all of these various areas of rotation that are spinning up within these cells. We have some broader rotation, though, going right across the Caloosahatchee. This is now just east of 31, just north of Fort Myers Shores, just to the north and west of Olga. There's North River Road, where you cut down and cross over towards Palm Beach. And again, there's 31. So we're talking the area between 31 and Olga, another area of rotation within this, not necessarily confirmed, but a potential tornado with that one, although it does look to have broadened a little bit in the last frame. There are some very strong winds right now. I think we still have the Babcock cam up on Doppler 2 ABC. I would love to see that right now, as there appears to be some very strong winds There you go. There's your lowering wall cloud here too from the Babcock Ranch area. I think you can see a little bit perhaps of a funnel trying to touch down. If you've ever driven along 31, you see there in the distance, that's one of the TV towers there, the signal towers. There appears to be a little bit perhaps of that lowering of the cloud there. And certainly the rain has wound down a little bit in the Babcock community, allowing us to see that, an indication of the dynamics within this cell. The wind's so strong that the rain not really able to even fall through that right now. Lauren, you have something to add?
Coming in from the National Weather Service chat. So we are seeing damage reports from La Paloma Boulevard in North Fort Myers. So this was confirmed from that tornado on the ground again from La Paloma Boulevard in North Fort Myers. So this would be as you cross over the Caloosahatchee and you head up 41 into North Fort Myers. This is damage reported near the Deltura Golf and Country Club. Of course, feel free to send in any of those damage reports to us. But again, that coming from the National Weather Service, that damage reported at 12:50 p.m. at La Paloma Boulevard, that cross street Del Mar. So we're going to continue to monitor the National Weather Service chat for any damage reports as we continue to monitor these warnings.
And that cell is still showing very strong rotation. Go ahead and bring this back full so I can show the folks at home the areas we're talking about. This is the cell that, by all accounts, looks to have had a tornado on the ground for quite a while now. A long track tornado with this cell that is crossing Burmont Road west of 31, by far and away the best signature. A few other areas I'm watching to see if they can spin up a little bit further. We have one off to the north and east, off to the north of Bayshore here. As it's crossing over into Charlotte County. We have a second area, another area near the Babcock Ranch community. That's a little bit of a broader rotation area, but we do have some very strong winds there right now here too in that area. I'm going to take a look at the broader view. Let's get a wide picture of everything going on out there right now, and I'll switch it back over to our radar. We have a number of tornado warnings in effect. Let's try to reset here. We have our very dangerous long track tornadic thunderstorm right now in Charlotte County. That cell is lifting northward. That cell is moving across Burmont Road as we speak. I mean, this is a textbook tornadic signature on the radar. This looks to be what we call a debris ball, the area where perhaps some debris has been lofted within this cell, this little hook that's coming off of this. The area of rotation is moving north now of 75. This one is actually to the south of that initial storm we were talking about. We have another area of spin on our radar that is just off to the east, or to the west rather, of the Babcock Ranch community on 75. Very heavy rain in between. So again, we urge you here, this is not the time, if you're watching from North Fort Myers, if you're watching from the North Fort Myers area, if you're watching from the Babcock Ranch community, the Punta Gorda area, you don't want to be trying to get to your window to see any of these areas of spin, to see any of these funnels trying to work their way in to your location. You want to stay in your safe place, your interior room. Limit the number of windows and doors. If you can, stay hunkered down until this storm passes by. I'm going to track this very clear rotation signature, this very clear hook signature. I'm going to put it at 50 miles per hour, which might be a little bit too quickly for how this is moving, but let's give an overestimate here. The Peace River Shores community by 131, Deep Creek by 131, Lake Susie by 134, Fort Ogden by 135. That storm that is showing strong rotation right now. We dial into the Babcock Ranch community. We have a second area, a second little hook working down off of this one. Not quite as pronounced, but fairly formidable looking in its own right. This is going to track over the eastern side of Babcock Ranch and roll right along 31. Also head towards the Burmont area. Trying to get this track on for you. So Babcock Ranch, we're talking in the next 5 minutes, the area of rotation rolling by the community. We have more areas of rotation to track as well. I want to dive southward. Here is another one. This is, as we dive in southeast portions of Lee County, where Corkscrew is marked on the map. There's the Bellaterra community. There's RSW. This is off to the east of RSW. You can see a clear hook signature on the radar right there. Another storm potentially producing a tornado. We have another one to the south of that. This is to the south of the Bellaterra community. We're talking south of Corkscrew Road. So all of the various communities along Corkscrew Road, we'll be watching this one closely as it lifts its way northward in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Another storm capable of producing a tornado. Jason, you seeing anything on your end there that you want to jump in and point out to the viewers?
Yeah, I tell you what, we have so much going on right now. We've got the tornado threat, multiple hazards expected as we go through the next 24 hours. I also want to give you the bigger picture, and Jim was touching on this earlier, but with our NBC2 First Alert Live Doppler radar, we can detect the eye right there. That is Hurricane Milton, and this is where those peak winds are. Just to give you an idea of how far away that is from our radar site, it looks like it's just about 150, or actually, let me go into our little tracker tool, and I want to track it from where the eye wall is in the strongest wind. So yeah, so if you measure it from the outer eye wall, we have a major hurricane about 100 miles, just over 100 miles off of our coast. So as we continue to follow all of these tornado warnings and some of the confirmed tornadoes we've seen, we also want to give you that big picture view. And the tornado, or rather the hurricane, we have a lot of rotating systems out there today, is making a motion right now. It's moving to the northeast, just about like this, but we do expect it to eventually curve back over to the east. So we're also watching that very, very closely. We have a new update coming out we're going to get to in just a moment from the National Hurricane Center on Hurricane Milton with an update on the speed, but I also want to just kind of walk you through where we're looking at some of the severe weather, the tornado warnings. And if you're just joining us today, along with the tornado warnings, we have a tornado watch that's also in effect until 9 p.m. So it looks like this is something that we're going to have to continue to deal with for the next several hours. That's the first phase of the threat. Let's start down over sections of Collier County. Finally getting a break for Naples and Marco Island, but we still have that tornado warning in effect until 1:15. We're looking at, okay, so that's good. As soon as I clicked on it, the tornado warning expired. And so now that tornado warning has expired for Collier County. So that's some good news. The rotation is weakening there. We're also looking out closer to Immokalee. This is just some heavy rainfall, no rotation being detected over inland sections of Collier County. So let's take a trip up US Highway 41 and I-75 and focus on where we're tracking the worst of the weather. So we have this tornado warning for the southeastern corner of Lee County. That's until 1:45. So another 30 minutes of that is in effect as this continues to push up to the north at about 25 miles per hour. So we've got that tornado warning. And if you can kind of see here, and I'll point this out for you, but we've got multiple cells showing signs of rotation, and we're going to take a closer look at a rotation detection in just a moment. But just to kind of show you something you're more familiar with on the NBC2 First Alert Live Doppler radar, the concern is, even though you might not be looking outside and seeing that tornado, there could still be one there, because we're in a situation now where it's rain wrapped. So it's going to be very difficult to see, but it looks like, yeah, so that looks to be a little hook signature here near 82 over the south side of Lehigh Acres. That's pushing over towards central sections of Lehigh Acres. So if you're in Lehigh Acres, please go to a safe spot. Usually with tropical systems, we don't see an environment like this where we have long-lived tornadoes. We often talk about brief tornado spin-ups. That's not the situation we're in right now. The environment is incredibly conducive for producing these tornado spin-ups, and that's why we're really concerned about that at this point. Let me switch over to a different product for you to look at, and this is going to show us the potential spin in the atmosphere. So we're looking over here near Lehigh. I know this just might look a little cluttered to your eye, but as trained meteorologists, we're looking at some other indicators here where we are seeing some spin in some of these cells. So what I'm going to do here is let me just get a broader vantage point just so I can kind of get a better view of what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to draw a track here from where we're looking at some spin, and it looks like that's right over near 82. It doesn't look as impressive as some of the other signatures that we've seen, but I'm going to draw a track here for you as this moves up. It's moving at about 25 miles per hour, but I'm going to draw it a little bit faster just to give you some more lead time. So areas over central sections of Lehigh Acres, this would include Veterans Park, Homestead Road South. If you're familiar, what was formerly known as the Cookie, Lee Boulevard, as it dives southward down through Alabama Road South, central sections of Lehigh Acres, you need to be in a safe spot right now, away from windows, away from outside walls, as we could be looking at a potential tornado here. And there's the timeline. So 1:30 would have the area of rotation right about here over central sections of Lehigh Acres and Alva. By 1:43. We're also watching out for those of you in Fort Myers Shores. It looks like at this point, just, you know, to my eye, based on the movement, this is going to stay to the east of you, but you are technically in that tornado warning for Fort Myers Shores. So that's the one area of rotation that we're looking at. Let me clear this off the map for you. And we got a camera view from Babcock Ranch. Okay, let's go ahead and take a closer look from Babcock Ranch. I'm going to just step off the screen because the monitor's kind of far from my eyes, so I just want to get a better view to see if we can diagnose any kind of rotation. Yeah, let's take it full, just so it's a little bit easier to see. And meteorologist Jim Dickey, I don't want to give too much information away about Jim, but he lives in Babcock Ranch, so he's very familiar, of course, with that area. He's keeping a close eye. It's just, you know, Jim, is just so hard to see in this kind of environment with so much rain.
Well, just a few moments ago, I was watching that camera as I swung it around, and I saw certainly what appeared to be a funnel cloud moving off in the distance. So from this view, you're looking across Lake Babcock there, looking northward towards northern Charlotte County, and there was clearly what appeared to be a funnel cloud moving through that view. Now the rain has moved in as that cell continues to lift northward. So we're talking that tornadic cell north of the Babcock Ranch community. You can go ahead and take it back here.
Well, it appears I've lost my connection with the hand tracker tool. So Jim, if you want to handle it just a couple more minutes, and I'll try to.
Absolutely, sure will. So we're taking a look at a number of different areas of rotation here, a number of different tornadoes, tornado warnings that is still in effect. We have our tornado here, our tornado warning for parts of Charlotte County as this jumps around on me, of course. We have our tornado warning for DeSoto County. That's for this cell that is lifting towards the Arcadia area. That goes until 2 o'clock. We have a second tornado warning that includes southern portions of Charlotte County. That includes interior Lee County. That goes until 1:45. We have another tornado warning. As I zoom back out, I want to get the full view of this here. This band continues to work its way inland, and there's just these numerous areas of rotation along it. Your third tornado warning does not appear to want to pop up for me. There's the flood warning. That is for parts of Collier County. That is for a cell that is just moving over South 41 on the southern side of the rotation. And not to be outdone, behind me here on radar, there's Milton. There's the center of Milton, which is due west right now of the Estero area, lifting to the north and east. This has been a formidable rain band and a number of tornadic supercell thunderstorms within it. Let's begin in Charlotte County again. Let's dive in. This is the cell we've been tracking for you for about an hour now. This is lifting off to the north. This is still showing some signs of rotation. I'm not quite seeing the same hook signature. Here's a hook signature. This is just to the south of Vermont Road. Clearly some rotation right now, right along 31, lifting to the north and west. Another little hook signature just to the south of Tucker's Corner. That's lifting to the north. We showed you the Babcock camera. That's now heavy rain moving in to the Babcock Ranch community after these supercells are lifting northward. Sort of a mess within the cell moving through Lehigh Acres Gateway east of the airport. Let me switch over to the velocity presentation. We can see where some of the areas of spin are within that. We have one right over the heart of Lehigh Acres right now. This is not as pronounced as some of the other areas of spin we were tracking for you earlier on, but all the same in Lehigh Acres, in Alva, in Olga, this area is quickly moving in. We'll cross 80, we'll cross the Caloosahatchee in the next few moments. And again, I can't emphasize enough, your strategy here is to get into that interior safe space. If you're listening from Olga, from Lehigh, from Alva right now, you want to get to that interior room. You want to hunker down and stay there until this storm passes you by. Let's look at what's going on into Collier County, our cell in Deep South Collier. I'll switch over to the velocity from Miami. You can get an idea of what we're talking about here. Another very pronounced rotation signature. This one is just east of 29. This just lifted north of the Ochopee community. This is the tail end of this line, another tornado-warned cell that is moving through interior portions of Collier County. We're going to keep an eye on that one. That should stay just to the east of 29. If you're watching from Deep Lake, from Jeremy, from Copeland, this looks to stay just off to your east. Let's jump back into Lee County. Cape Coral, Fort Myers. The band has lifted north and eastward. Break in the action now. The tornado warnings off to your east for the various cells here that are still producing some signs of rotation. Let me go ahead and take a look. Tampa's radar, nothing but heavy rain in Lehigh Acres right now. From that view, we switch over to the velocity mode, and I'm not seeing on rotation, I'm not seeing the same spin in these cells. I think what we're starting to see here is as these cells get away from the coast, they're moving into an at least somewhat more stable environment. So perhaps as these cells lift towards Glades and Hendry, we'll watch the threat for tornadoes wind down. The cell of most concern right now, it's that one right there. Let's dive in. This is in northeastern Charlotte County. This is just north of Vermont Road. This is tracking northward towards the Sparkman area. Yeah, this rotation has clearly tightened here just west of Vermont. So as you go up 31 and begin to turn to DeSoto County, that's the area we're talking right now. We're going to watch this one very, very closely. If you're watching from Arcadia, this cell is heading in your general direction. Let me get a track on this for you. These cells are racing to the north at about 50 miles per hour. This one, another area that has really spun up and appears to be, by all indications, another cell capable of producing a tornado if it's not putting a tornado on the ground right now. Arcadia by 1:43. Let's even go earlier than that. Let's say by 1:35. So in 10 minutes, that's when this area of rotation will be moving into downtown Arcadia. This is going right up 31, heading into downtown Arcadia from the south. If you're in Arcadia right now, I've been preaching it across the board, but you probably just got that indication to your phone of that tornado warning. I know you often get tornado warnings. They're not often, this type of signature on radar. We're tracking long-lasting, strong, long-track tornadoes. You want to be in your interior room in your home, lowest level of your home. Don't go to the window. Don't try to get a view of the funnel with this storm. Don't be trying to get a video to get it up on social media. You want to protect your life and property now in Arcadia for this very quickly rotating storm that is moving towards the town. 1:43 is when this cell will arrive in Arcadia. Again, let's even call it a little bit earlier than that, about 1:35. Let's jump southward again along the line, along the broader line. We have another little area of spin. It's not as intense. That's that area moving out of Lehigh Acres, moving towards State Road 80. Let's dive in on that one. This is near River Hall. This is near Alva. This is going to stay just to the east of the Babcock Ranch community. Some roads for you here. Yeah, Palm Beach, State Road 80, Windmere Drive, Greenbrier Boulevard, Joel Boulevard, the Alva community. Here is Old Olga Road as it cuts off of 80, North River Road across the Caloosahatchee. There's an area of spin within this fast-moving thunderstorm that is working towards you here at this point in time. The River Hall community, you want to be sure you're in that interior room. That goes for Alva, that goes for Olga as well. Let's put a track on this storm, which is quickly moving off to the north as well, as they all are at about 50 miles per hour. This one will track over the Babcock Ranch Preserve, stay just to the east of the Babcock Ranch community, moving at 50 miles per hour across interior portions of Charlotte County. This is where this one is heading, across the river and tracking to the north towards sort of the confluence there of Glades County, of Charlotte County, of DeSoto County. The most concerning signature on radar right now is with this cell that has really wrapped itself up south of Arcadia. This is a dangerous situation for Arcadia. This is just along 31. Let's dive in here. Let's follow this as this cell lifts northward. You see where Sparkman is marked on the map. This is just to the west of 41, just to the south and west of Joshua. I just heard the producer. If you have something to show, just go ahead and pop it up. Very well. We're watching this cell track its way towards Arcadia here. I want to put a track on this for you once again. North. Very well. Will do. North at 50 miles per hour, moving towards Arcadia. There you go. 144. Arcadia, Lansing, 148. This will be crossing 17 right around these times. So if you're watching for Arcadia, we have a tornado-warned storm. We have a storm that, by all appearances, appears to be wrapping up. That tornado signature on radar appears to be getting stronger here as we get these new scans coming in. Similar appearance on radar right now. We have our area of rotation right along 31. This is crossing over from live radar. This is crossing over the Charlotte and DeSoto County line and quickly racing off to the north and west. A dangerous situation here for Arcadia, which, by the way, it appears we've allowed that tornado warning that included Lehigh Acres. That one has expired, it appears. If anything is reissued there, please let me know. There's that tornado warning, though, and this is the most concerning cell at this point in time, working quickly to the north at 50 miles per hour towards Arcadia. If you're in Arcadia, again, you want to be in that interior room, limit the number of doors and windows there. Don't try to get a picture of this. Don't try to get a video of this. Stay hunkered down as this storm passes by. Of course, we're still tracking the core of Milton as well, which, as we've been dealing with all these tornado warnings, the storm is basically due west of us right now. So with the reset, I want to throw it over to Jason Dunning with the latest on the storm.
Yeah, and we are getting hourly advisories on Hurricane Milton, so I obviously don't want to lose sight of the bigger picture. We have some very serious weather here across our area with multiple tornado warnings. Some good news I can share with you in terms of the tornado threat. That initial feeder band, which is producing several tornado warnings, that is in the process of moving out of our viewing area. You'll notice a little bit of a dry slot right here, so we will get a breather as we go through the first part of the afternoon. But here's the latest update. Movement to the northeast at 17 miles per hour. I always like to put on here the historical track, or basically this is the track that Milton has been taking over the last several hours. So right now, a Category 4 hurricane with winds at 145 miles per hour. I'll say that there's indications that it's battling with some wind shear right now and also some dry air. And that's why you see this little bit of a lull right here. We've got perhaps some dry air getting ingested into the system. The hope is that will help to weaken it as it approaches the coast of Southwest Florida and also up around the Sarasota area. And I'm going to share something from the National Hurricane Center in just a moment that it's very telling and why we should not focus right now in the middle of the forecast cone. So now that we've looked at the advisory, we want to take a closer look at the track that it's taken. And this white line right here is the center line of the forecast cone. So this is the middle of the forecast cone. And what we're going to be watching for as we go through the afternoon and tonight is how close does the center stay along that center line. Why are we concerned about that? Well, that will kind of tell us if we're seeing any kind of deviations, any kind of wobble in the track. And at this point, miles matter. So even a slight deviation to the south would mean a higher magnitude of impacts for Southwest Florida as it relates to wind, as it relates to storm surge. And so we're going to be keeping a very close eye on the exact track that it takes as it starts to approach our coastline. The weather will continue to deteriorate as we go through the rest of the day today. After we get through this initial feeder band, okay, thanks for that. Looking at the wind field, something else I want to point out is the storm continues to grow in size. So as you look at the area shaded in orange, it is almost double the size that it was just 24 hours ago. So this is the extent of the tropical storm winds. These are the hurricane force winds. So when you think about a hurricane, those peak winds are just kind of a small portion right around the eye wall. That's where the strongest winds are. But one of the things that I want to kind of drill down and show you is that we are beginning to see some of those tropical storm winds along our coastline. That wind field is beginning to arrive in Southwest Florida. So over the next few hours, you're going to notice the winds beginning to pick up. We could see some wind gusts up over 40, 60 miles per hour. I know that with that band that came through that prompted the tornado warnings, and we still have some out there, we had some wind gusts at top 70 miles per hour. Actually, Ethan, if you wouldn't mind, if we could, in the control room, take our AWS computer. I want to look at some of the highest wind gusts that we've seen so far since I started talking about it. All right, so there's our Weather Now network, and I filtered out some of the highest winds. So at Page Field Airport in Fort Myers, confirmed wind gusts of 77 miles per hour. That was from that cell that spawned the tornado that went from Fort Myers up to North Fort Myers and up closer to the Babcock Ranch area. Fort Myers Beach wind gusts already up to 66. So we're starting to see now the winds beginning to pick up. Let's go back over to the Doppler 1 source. I want to get you caught up on the forecast track of Hurricane Milton. The next advisory due out at 2 p.m., so 30 minutes from now. But you can see how close the storm is to our coast, to Category 4 hurricane. And then watch the winds here as we go through time. This is the hope anyway. Sometimes you don't know for certain until it happens. But by 8 o'clock tonight, winds at 125 miles per hour. That's still a major hurricane. So I hate to use the word weaken into a Category 3 storm because that's still going to cause significant impacts. But the hope is that it will continue to interact with some of that wind shear, which hopefully will interfere and disrupt that center and cause those winds to drop. Either way, this is a growing storm in size, and that also contributes to that the storm surge that is going to push along our coast. So expecting to see landfall tonight. If I had to kind of pick a time frame, I would say closer to 10 o'clock at night, to 2 o'clock in the morning, but some bad weather will happen even before that. So we need to leave right now? Okay, all right, so I guess I'll finish this up when I can. I'm told we're...
Just keep going if you want to keep.
Okay,
If you have more information,
well,
keep going.
yeah. Okay, that stuff can wait. We're just going to finish the forecast first. I thought maybe we had a press conference or something to go to. No, we don't. Okay. Want to look at the latest model plots because these update here as we go throughout the day. We haven't seen any major shifts. Coming up in the next couple hours, we're going to get a brand new set of forecast computer model plots, but I just want to show you, since I know you like to see these spaghetti plots, that all of these are keeping it north of the area, but it is possible to see some subtle shifts down to the south. This is one of the points that I wanted to get to. This is straight from the National Hurricane Center, and they say we would like to emphasize that Milton's exact landfall location is not possible to predict even at this time, particularly if the hurricane wobbles during the day and into the evening. So that's why I was kind of showing you that track line of any potential wobbles, and that's what we're going to be watching closely from our vantage point here in Southwest Florida. Here's a live view from Fort Myers Beach, Margaritaville Beach Resort. And as we go through the afternoon, you're going to see those water level rises for Fort Myers Beach. I think the peak of the surge will come this evening here, through the night tonight, and into the next high tide cycle into Thursday morning. So that's the view from Fort Myers Beach. You can see the wave heights being generated by this very large and powerful hurricane, up to 21 feet off of our coast. So you just kind of picture the hurricane generating all those waves and pushing those waves, pushing the water up against the coast. So this is going to be the worst aspect that we're going to have to deal with the hurricane by tonight. We have storm surge warnings in place for the coast of Southwest Florida. You'll see Lee County lit up here. The entire county doesn't mean we're going to get surge for the entire county, but along the Caloosahatchee, any connection to the Gulf of Mexico, expect to see some storm surge. Now, this is one of the most important things I can show you. The latest storm surge guidance and forecasts from the National Hurricane Center calling for 10 to 15 feet of surge along the immediate coast from Boca Grande, that's Gasparillo Island, up through the Placida area, Inglewood, Manasota Keys, so coastal sections of Charlotte County, 8 to 12 feet of peak surge for the Lee County barrier islands. So as you go inland, we're not going to see this much storm surge. So these values will drop, but it is possible to see some surge for the southern part of the Cape and up the Caloosahatchee River. You probably remember back when we were tracking Helene, we had some flooding from a storm that was 200 miles off our coast. And the storm surge that we're going to see with this will be worse. And then for the Naples area, expecting storm surge about 5 to 8 feet. We're going to get into the exact timeline of which communities will see the surge. We'll talk about the tide times as well. I'm going to send it back over to the desk to share some of your pictures that you sent in from some of the weather we've already seen today.
Yeah.
Jen?
Jason, thanks so much. We'll give you guys a
Bit of a
30-second break or
breather.
something. It's been a very long
Yeah.
2.5 hours for you. Our meteorologists have been following all of this tornadic activity.
Right.
I believe it was what, Jim, about 5 tornadoes that have touched down in the last couple of hours? Yeah.
Yeah, they're counting right
Many,
now.
reportedly, but new photos of a possible tornado along Colonial and Summerlin in Fort Myers. Here's just an area west of the Edison Mall, just down the road from our TV station. Right in front of the midpoint, you can actually see some damage to that 7-Eleven there, debris all over the road.
And not too far away from this, take a look. We do have some video of what we believe is the tornado hitting on Brayman Avenue in Fort Myers. If you're not familiar where exactly that is, it's not too far from Lee Memorial Hospital and Fort Myers Country Club off of 41. And you can see some of the damage there that a viewer sent in, and we certainly appreciate you sending us that video. Speaking of tornadoes, we do have another tornado warning. We're going to get right over to Jim Dickey.
So let's get Doppler 2 back up behind me here. We can take a look at what we got going on across Southwest Florida. Again, Doppler 2 is that source. Number of active tornado warnings, still some dangerous storms. Now, the threat is shifting from our coastal communities to our inland areas here at this point in time. We have one tornado warned storm that is just now arriving in Arcadia. That tornado warning goes until 2 o'clock. We have a second tornado warning in northern Glades County. That's for a storm that is just north of Palmdale. That one goes until 2 o'clock as well. The purple flashing polygon, that is a confirmed tornado warning. That is in interior portions of Collier County. Let's take a look at all three, beginning with the storm in Arcadia. That cell, we were tracking it as it crossed out of Charlotte County. That cell is quickly moving into downtown. The area of concern within this is just along 31 here. So right about there, where 31 cuts northward into DeSoto County, where 31 crosses into Arcadia. That is where that area of rotation is lifting northward. Let me go ahead and switch back over and take a look at the velocity presentation, confirming what our live radar is showing you right there in Arcadia. Let me dive in and get a closer look at the street view. This is tracking right toward downtown. This is moving up 31. Again, basically the intersection of 31 and State Highway 70. That is where this is tracking, where the Wawa is on 70, where the Chili's is right down the road. That is where this is moving towards DeSoto County High School. There's Turner Avenue. There's where the high school is. This is where this is tracking right now. So if you're watching from the eastern side of Arcadia, again, along State Road 70, along 31, along Turner there, and this is just east of downtown along 70. This is a rotating thunderstorm, has a long history of rotation. As I was watching this cell pulling away from the Babcock Ranch community, there did appear to be a funnel in this cell here and has been spinning for quite a while. So would not be surprised if we have a tornado on the ground right now moving across County Road 760, basically paralleling 31. This is going to cross 70 and stay just to the east of 17 in Arcadia and head just to the east of Turner Avenue as well. So those of you watching, especially from the eastern side of Arcadia, you want to stay to the lowest level of your home, an interior room. Again, no doors, no windows. Hunker down and stay put until that storm passes by. It's moving quickly at a fast 50 miles per hour as these cells have been moving. Let's dial into our cell in Palmdale. That is a concerning looking signature on radar as well in northern portions of Glades County. A very strong rotation signature right now. This is just off to the west of Old Lakeport Road. There's a tornado within this cell. It is right here. There's Old Lakeport Road moving away from Palmdale. This cell tracking to the north of 29. That is racing northward here too. All of them about 50 miles per hour. To get your bearings, here is 27. So this is off to the east of 27, moving northward. You see that dark blue, that green together right in between. That's that area of spin within the storm. There's a tornado on the ground. It is moving right along Old Lakeport Road. See where Fort Center is marked in the corner of the screen. That is where that cell is going. And not to be left out, I do want to take a look at the tornado warned cell, the confirmed tornado warning in Collier County. This cell is just now crossing Alligator Alley. And in fact, if we want to look at that camera, if it's still online, if someone can try to get that online, that camera there at near the toll booth. This is just east of 29, north and east of Deep Lake of Jeremy. That's where this area of rotation is. In fact, let me go ahead and switch over. And not quite as pronounced as was a few moments ago when we had that confirmed tornado warning with that cell, that confirmed tornado reported on the ground. But all the same, a concerning storm that is lifting north of 75, lifting north of the alley in interior portions of Collier County. There is Bear Island. This is just to the east of that. We're going to be watching this for the Golden Gate Estates community as this is pulling away from you right now and heading towards portions of South Hendry County. But you can see what we've been dealing with. We got one area spin right there. We got another area spin right there. We have another area of spin right there. Potentially 3 tornadic sort of elements to this line here in South Collier County right now, interior Collier County. If you're watching from Naples, if you're watching from Marco, watching from Everglades City, this line has passed off to the north. At least for now, the threat for any additional tornadic activity has passed as well. Let's reset, take a look at the wide view of what we're talking about with these areas of rotation. So some good news here. A tornado warning has been allowed to expire in around the Arcadia community. We still have our tornado warning into Palmdale, our confirmed tornado warning along 75. That is lifting its way northward away from the alley. We'll track that one as it goes into South Collier. Of course, as well, just now due west of Sanibel, about 115 miles, 112 miles due west of Sanibel. That's where we find the center of Hurricane Milton. We report to you, let me go ahead and move this over. We report to you those high-end winds, those major hurricane winds are in this eye wall from Milton right now in this sort of ring around the eye. So we're going to be watching that core closely as it lifts to the north and east. Spots like Naples, spots like Marco Island, the center of the storm has already lifted north of your latitude. We are not talking a direct landfall in Collier County from this one. We're not talking a landfall in Lee County from this one. We will still be watching for northern Charlotte County with that northeastern movement continuing from the storm as it continues to move off to the north and east. I think we can maybe take a reset here. I want to be sure that we get our bearings together and get another look at the latest from the Hurricane Center on the storm. So I'll either throw it back to the anchors from here, we can go to break, but I'll throw it back to you guys in the booth.
All right, thank you so much, Jim. And we continue to track some of the damage and videos and pictures that you have been sending in to us, and we certainly appreciate that. You can send those, by the way, to newstips@nbc-2.com or abc-7.com, or you can go to our Facebook pages as well. This, if you take a look, is from Brian Maxwell. Thank you so much. This is Brandon Avenue in Fort Myers. We already saw some video that came in from another viewer to give you perspective. This is right by Lee Memorial, not too far from Fort Myers Country Club. But several of you have sent in some images of damage and obviously some wind and rain and ponding in that area. This is also a look at Matlacha. We did
Yeah, very vulnerable area.
Oh my gosh,
As
yes.
some photos have been coming in from that location, especially near the Matlacha Bridge, especially that location where you look east inland. And I think we're looking at, I don't think this is the Matlacha footage right here, is it? There's
There
the
we go.
Matlacha footage.
Wow.
In fact, we showed that live over the air as it was happening, maybe a little over an hour ago. Damage is being reported here in the area. And then this is also footage. I think we have it at slowed down slightly, just to give you a little perspective of how gusty those winds were. I think winds definitely over 50 miles per hour there through that area. And then, of course, this is a photo tweeted out by the Lee County Sheriff's Office maybe about an hour ago, and down power lines this morning as a result of some kind of activity that was going through. I think we're still waiting on whether or not, or waiting, I should say, on a confirmation that it was in fact a tornado. But some activity, regardless, creating this type of situation and debris on the roads.
We also have a look at some brand new video of a tornado that touched down earlier in Hendry County. We appreciate our viewer, Connie Holland Ryan. She took this video along State Road 80. She was right between LaBelle and State Roads 27. She said that she was heading east and she had to slow down to let this pass. We were able to show this to you live as well on one of our cameras, but there's a perspective from the ground. Certainly a disturbing sight, big funnel in the sky. I believe we have another angle as well.
Yeah, here's another angle of that. You can just see how wide the base is of that one. This tornado came down through the Hendry County area as well, all kind of part of a number of systems that kind of came up from the south and then made their way up to the northeast there. So these are new pictures that we're actually just getting from damage of that tornado, and taken by Jeanette Nunemaker. And we'll just kind of cycle through some of these other pictures. Again, you see one from Emily Hager here.
Mm-hmm. That's by the Bell Tower.
Yeah, interior damage
park
there.
area. Wow, you can see, and we knew that there were some definitely downbursts of wind and some issues. And of course, again, this is the Bell Tower area, not too far from some of the other damage that we were showing you. But look at that! Wow, it's right by 41.
Yeah, we had that system that kind of came up through Gladiolus and 41 in that area. And then here you see the branches down. Definitely a lot of wind. And I think what made this, well, I do know what made this system so dangerous, and a number of them that came through was the horizontal rainfall. And the danger there being rain-wrapped tornado systems that could be coming through the area. It makes it dangerous because you can't see them. You can't see the funnel. So you don't know 100% for certain if what is going on is a tornado.
That's why our meteorologists were so adamant about getting to an interior portion of your home or whatever structure you're in, because again, you can't see these tornadoes when they're rain wrapped, but my gosh.
And it just seemed like one was right after the other. I mean, it was a solid 2 hours.
Yeah,
Just tornado warnings coming out here and there.
Nonstop, and you can see some of that wind there. We do have new pictures as well. I think we have more tornado damage.
Is this off Colonial right there?
Okay, that's Colonial and De Leon.
Yeah, that's just right down the road.
Not too far
That is
from-
as you're coming up on that bridge that goes over 41.
You can see the 7-Eleven awning there damaged.
So that's just down the road from our television station.
Not too far from Edison Mall, to give you an idea of where exactly that is. We also have some video of, let's see, that's Colonial and,
Is that still Colonial?
oh, that's still De Leon. Okay.
We're just getting these photos in real time.
We're looking at them with you.
We're looking at them
Yeah,
for the first
look at those
time right
trees
now.
now.
They're all coming in.
And we
minute
appreciate
by
that.
minute.
Thank you for sending these in. I believe we have footage of some flooding as well.
There's something from Savona.
We
Here's
do.
Fort Myers right here. Savona's in the Cape Coral area, but that's Fort Myers. Just these heavy rain bands that were just coming through with that first band of Milton.
And it was that first major band that was
First
done.
major band. And I mean, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but certainly under my recollection of covering a number of hurricanes here in the area, that was probably one of the more active first bands of a hurricane I've seen, probably in all the years I've lived in Southwest Florida.
Certainly with tornadic,
That kind of activity.
tornadic influence and issues. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that kind of thing ever. That many in that. You can see the rain almost sideways. Okay, this is the one we were speaking of. This is flooding in Savona. This is the Southeast Cape, not too far from Cape Coral Parkway, right off of Del Prado. And that's an area that does flood a bit. It is right off of the river and off of a canal. But obviously an area that does flood, that's a major concern, because if it looks like that now, as we anticipate the storm surge coming, that is a concern. So my friends in Savona, keep an eye out.
Here we go. This was Summerlin. This was towards, I think, the Colonial area, Colonial and Summerlin. So obviously some pretty serious rain bands, horizontal rain, making it very blinding out there. Yeah, that first band that came through, over the last 2.5 hours or so, it had a lot of activity within it. So, of course, our meteorologists are on top of everything that's going on. Are we tossing over to Lauren here in just a moment?
I believe Lauren
Okay.
has an update for
Lauren
us.
has some new information. Lauren, go ahead.
Yeah, we still have ongoing tornado warnings, but we want to reset for a moment and just show you where Hurricane Milton is and get you the latest, because in just a few minutes, we are expecting that big 2 p.m. advisory update. So it has picked up in forward speed a lot. Milton will not be a slow moving storm, moving to the northeast at 17 miles per hour, winds still at Category 4, 145 miles per hour. We still expect the influence of wind shear to cause this to weaken to a Category 3. Landfall sometime late tonight, likely at this point before midnight. So that storm surge threat is going to be beginning soon. So we've been dealing with those outer bands lashing Southwest Florida, a bit of a tornado outbreak ongoing. And you can see all of this tornado warned. There are multiple areas of rotation back inland. We're talking east of I-75 for many areas like LaBelle, Palmdale, Clewiston. I want to show you these areas that have spun up. So initially these were closer to the coast, and now, especially for inland Collier County, we're seeing these areas continue to rotate. So I would just go ahead and say, if you live inland right now, you certainly are dealing with the likelihood of rotation at times, because we're seeing a lot of these spin up very quickly. But we need to start to transition into this storm surge concern, because this is going to begin heading into the late afternoon and early tonight. We are already seeing some reports of tropical storm force wind gusts, of course, confirmed tornadoes throughout the morning as well, up to 5 confirmed so far. Winds are sustained at about 20 to 25 miles per hour, but already up to 30 along areas like Marco. So as we transition into the afternoon, but particularly after sunset